What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Hot Toys Hotline Live, episode 130. That's a good number, 130. Guys, what a storm, an absolute storm this morning. I mean, I got a picture from a buddy of mine this morning of some shipping boxes saying that, hey, Doctor Doom is about to release and supposedly Venom as well. And then it turned into 4 releases all at once, which is pretty crazy. I mean, 4 releases in one day and then 2 announcements on top of that. Obviously, these are 2 announcements that we knew were coming. We had a little preview of it last week. But to see them all officially announced and all the releases all in one day is pretty freaking incredible. So, yeah, very, very exciting week, especially with the Endoskeleton. Like, you guys know, if you know me, I'm a big Terminator guy. Chris is a big Terminator guy as well, so to see the Endoskeleton finally become a thing after all these years, that original T2 Endoskeleton Hot Toys did years and years ago, it was just unbelievably aged at this point. It didn't have that like chrome finish that you're looking for. It was very matte looking, and it just kind of looked goofy. But I'm sure for its time, it was awesome. So great to be here with you guys. Some really exciting stuff. I can't wait to get into everything. I know a lot of you are very interested to talk about that Harley Quinn, and we do have some probably diverse opinions on the panel and probably in the chat as well talking about that Harley Quinn. So excited to talk about it with you guys and get into the stuff from this week. Joining me right now, we have Lane and Chris collecting madness. Chris has kind of a situation going on, but he was able to make it streaming from his car, so we do appreciate Chris being here. Hopefully the audio, it sounded good before we started, so hopefully the audio sounds good. But guys, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. We do have one more panel member joining us as well. Quick update, guys. Mike Thrawn's office is going to be taking a break indefinitely from streaming. I'm not going to say why, because that's like his own personal reason, but we're going to miss him. And, you know, I don't know when he's going to come back, if ever, but for now, he will not be streaming with anybody as far as I know. So we'll miss him. We wish him the best. If you want to hit up Mike or talk to him or anything, you can hit him up over on Instagram. His Instagram is in the description down below. But Lane, how you doing, my friend?
Hey, woke up at 4:30 this morning. Wish I maybe had even glad I ended up getting up when I did a little bit before 7, like 7:45, 6:45, because I had like 5 or 6 messages from people alerting me to Harley Artisan was up, and I was like, "What?" Of course, Nate led the way. Nate led the way, and I was like, "What?" And then I hit over the buttons, and I saw like Harley without any pictures up, and I was like, what the heck? My brain wasn't fully functioning. I clicked on nothing was loading, like any of the versions or anything. And I clicked, I think that would be the Artisan, right? Oh, well, it's probably waitlisted. Clicked on it, saw that it was still up. So I just like hit the button, like used $20 of points real quick and then put it through. And I was like, what is going on here? Like, why is this up already? But I did get the Artisan Harley pre-order today.
That's good.
Yeah, you guys know that's my figure. I've been waiting. That is like maybe other than Dark Empire Luke or Anakin, that was probably the figure, that version I've been waiting for Artisan, or reason I would be willing to get Artisan. Yeah. Other than that, though, since last time I was here, unfortunately, as you have seen, Chris hasn't seen yet. I did have somehow I had an unfortunate accident.
Somehow it always attracts you, Lane, and it's always with big symbiotic figures.
I know. My video game Venom, all 21 inch of him, somehow fell off the top of my D12 shelf. He had been in a pretty much like statue pose, in the same pose for 6 months, never moved. He wasn't near the edge, anything. Somehow, I don't know what happened. Maybe one of the ankles finally kind of gave out a little bit, but he was on his stand too.
It's the Hot Toys goblins, Lane. I keep telling you,
I know.
You have to watch for him before you go to bed at night.
Yeah, and he just fell off, and both the leg and arm completely broke. And so I had to, now certain smart Alex would be like, well, you have perfect timing. Now you can get the one true Venom.
That definitely wasn't me, Lane.
No,
Lane,
no.
every chance I can get to have a joke at your expense with a Hot Toys crash to the ground and burn, I have to say something about it to you.
Yes.
But at least it's not like a public flogging. You're kind of making it a public flogging. I wasn't actually going to bring it up, and now you're sharing it with the world, guys. Be careful with your VGM Venom, because it might come crashing down in the middle of the night, and you might end up just throwing it in the trash because it's unfixable, which is what happened with Lane's. But Lane,
Yeah.
appreciate you for being here. I want to say what's up
Yeah.
to Chris, say what's up to everybody in the chat. We'll talk more about Harley. I know you're really excited for that one. We'll kind of
Yeah.
share our thoughts and everything on that here shortly.
Bro, there's so much to talk about. It's insane. So I totally get it.
Yeah, for sure. Chris, I don't know if you're here because I know you have yourself muted because you're in the car, but you are here.
Yeah,
Chris,
I'm here.
thanks for being here. I know Big Dog Pound. Unfortunately, Chris won't have the belt with him because he is in the car. But
Yeah,
he's
if
got
I
the
did
belt with
any
him in
grand
spirit.
gesture right now, I would definitely be crashing the vehicle. So it's not
Yeah, so we
wouldn't be the
don't
wisest
want
thing,
that.
but I'm excited. T800 is what I'm most looking forward to, the Endoskeleton. So let's get this thing going.
Yeah. Yes, sir. We'll say what's up to everybody in the chat, guys, and then we'll get started. Like I said, we got a lot of really cool stuff to talk about tonight. We got Ryan, the collector, a hotline hottie, dropping his signature popcorn emoji in the chat, saying he's here too early. Well, you're never here too early. You're never here late. You're always on time, as I always say. So thanks for being here. Rick, I saw your comment. Rick is asking, y'all going to talk about that jacked up looking Harley from Hot Toys? So I guess I know Rick's opinion on this one. I think my opinion might surprise some of you guys, but of course we're going to talk about the Harley Quinn here very shortly. Both versions, both the Artisan and the Sculpted. But Rick, if you're still here, thank you for being here, my friend. We got Moose in the house. What's up, my dude? One of the OG hotline hotties. Moose says, hello, community of collectors. Today I'm fat with an Artisan Harley and a Terminator Endoskeleton, so my alternate name, the Action Figure Hoarder, will continue. I think that will continue for all of us. Thanks for being here, my friend. We got my boy Al, Sneaky Figures in the house, another hotline hottie, and just an all-around great dude. What's up, my friend? Al saying what's up to everybody. We got my dude Sal in the house. What's up, dude? I was actually just chatting with Sal before the stream. We got Jason in the house, guys. If you don't watch Kaiju Daddy and you're into the 112 stuff, definitely head on over to Kaiju Daddy's channel. Jason is a regular over there on his streams, and Jason is such a cool dude, and he collects 1/12, but I've been like slowly trying to convince him to buy more Hot Toys, and he has made his way to the 1/6 hobby as well, though primarily a 1/12 scale collector, I believe. But we're happy to have him, and we're happy to continue to encourage him to buy more. And also, we're happy to have you as part of the Hotline Hotties. Thanks for being a member, Jason. I appreciate you, my friend. Always great to have you here. We got my dude Valk in the house, another Hotline Hottie, and one of our great moderators over here. Valk is my dude. What's up, my friend? Pedro Lopez, of course, dropping the hashtag Hotline Confirmed. What's up, my dude? We got Robert in the house. I already know Robert's opinion on the Harley. I saw his comment in the Facebook group earlier, and we're going to talk about that. It's going to be a fun discussion, a very divisive discussion, I'm sure. But thanks for being here, my friend, and thank you so much, as always, for being a Hotline Hottie and for hanging out with us on this fine Tuesday evening. We already said what's up to our dude Big Dog Pound. What's up, my friend? Woo! Sorry Chris doesn't have the belt tonight, but we're happy to have it as always, my friend.
We can still give a woo, though.
Yeah, I actually heard, I don't know if that was your woo or my woo coming through your phone. It sounded like you, but I couldn't tell. We got Angry Dog Hobby in the house. What's up, my friend? And yes, I am very happy about that Endoskeleton as well. I cannot wait to talk about that with you guys. Such a peak announcement for me. We got OG Fan in the house. What's up, my dude? Saying hello to everyone. Another moderator, one of our OG Hotline Hotties here. Thank you for being here, my friend. Always, I hope you're doing well. As always, guys, as I'm scrolling through, if I miss you, I'll say what's up as we're having our discussions. 16 Stars Pimpazoid, what's up, my friend? 16 Stars Pimpazoid says, what's up? I hope Sideshow doesn't drop that Artisan Vader like they did the Harley Quinn today. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Very interesting strategy over there from Harley Quinn, with Harley Quinn, but very interesting. We got the username star, a bunch of stars. What's up? Star says, grabbed the Artisan Harley as I missed the 1.0. Me too. I actually didn't ever pick up that 1.0. I didn't want to spend the $400 on it, and this is the version I was waiting for. So I'm very hyped to take a look at that with you guys and talk about it and hear everybody's thoughts on it. My dude, Evil Sneaker in the house, you know, spreading lies, but we appreciate him nonetheless. A channel member, Hotline Hottie, and just an all-around great friend. 18 months of support. We appreciate you, bro, as always. But Obi-Wan is not the GOAT. He is the secondary GOAT to Anakin, the GOAT. But I appreciate it nonetheless. My dude Johnny in the house. What's up, dude? Another hotline hottie. What's up, my friend? Johnny says, evening hotties. Them drops keep coming. Yes, they do. They don't stop. If you guys didn't notice, I set the goal up today as the Howard Chan allowance, because at this point, why am I making goals for anything else but money going directly to Howie? I got to set the record straight, you know? Yeah, Robert, I'm sure you were probably enjoying your sleep based on your thoughts on that, but appreciate you guys all for being here as always. Again, if I missed any of your comments, I feel like I got everybody, but if not, we'll chat about it very shortly, and I'll get your comments as they come through. But guys, I want to talk about the Venom that I've been waiting for the most. And I know this Venom is kind of like it's kind of like in a way a concept piece from Hot Toys. It's not like a full-on, you know, accurate representation of Venom to any particular media, but I think it's awesome. Obviously, they are reusing that Venom body from the Tom Hardy versions, but they did remove all those little weird, like, purplish blue veins, which I personally never cared for. But, man, I think this guy is freaking badass, man. This is the Venom I've been waiting for. We've all wanted the Spider logo since the beginning of time when it comes to Hot Toys Venom figures, and I think this is like kind of a best of both worlds type of thing. I love all the little symbiote tendrils coming off the back with all the little heads. I love the head sculpts that come with this one, and I think he's just badass. And that VGM Venom didn't make its way into my collection just because of the size, and I was considering it because I liked the design of it, but the size alone was just like, I don't know if I want to get that. And Hot Toys kind of came at the right time with this one, where I had time to cancel that VGM version and go with the one that I actually have wanted this whole time, which, you know, like Chris, for example, he kind of made a little custom one with his Tom Hardy Venom with like a little like heat shrink vinyl logo that he put on his. Excuse me. So this is the one I think all of us have been waiting for, like I said, since the beginning of time when it comes to Hot Toys. I'm curious how many of you guys are picking this one up versus going with the VGM version. So definitely share that with us in the chat, because this is definitely a unique piece, and I don't know if we'll get a Venom like this ever again, just because it's a very unique one from Hot Toys, and we've waited this long to get it. But I just love that head sculpt, especially the open mouth one. I don't know if I'll ever use the closed mouth one, because for me, that iconic look for Venom is having that tongue out and showing those teeth, and this right here, kind of having him in a crouched pose with the open mouth. I think this is so badass, man. Absolutely love this figure. Although I'm cutting down on a lot of my Marvel stuff, this is so sick, man. I love like the wetness to the skin like we've seen previously. Love that open mouth head sculpt. Like this right here, that's the pose you want for Venom. It's so imposing. You don't have to put any stress on the skin or anything like that. It's a very basic pose. You can kind of pose around it. But man, I can't praise this one enough. I absolutely love it. And the base is sick with the little symbiote tendrils coming up. I feel like this is the one for me, and I think I'm good on Venom now. Unless they do, if they do another like Spider-Man 3 black suit, but a proper Venom with the Venom head sculpts and everything, like the proper Eddie Brock one, I will definitely grab that. I know a lot of people have their mixed thoughts on the Spider-Man 3 Venom from the Raimi verse, but that's a Venom that I would love to have in my collection, apart from like Toby in the black suit that we previously got. But yeah, Sal, I know, you know, maybe it's lacking that like cloudiness to the eyes that a lot of people look for in Venom, and I could agree with that. I think that is something that's missing from it. But yeah, for me, like just the overall package, I really dig, and Lane, it's just kind of ironic and funny at the same time that we're talking about this one now, because when we were talking about your unfortunate incident the other day with your Venom and it fell down and broke on you, I was mentioning to you, well, maybe that's a sign that you need to get this Marvel Comics Venom. And what are the odds? Literally, right after that happens, we have the official release of the Marvel Comics Venom. So, Lane, now with the timing and how it's lining up, are you going to try to make your decision on getting this one into your collection here in the near future?
Oh, well, I'm probably going to have to try and get it, because originally I was getting that one to be my Venom, because I really liked the game one, but it was monstrously huge. Like there's no way of just getting around that. But I will say what I do like with this one, even over the game. But part of the reason I like the game one is I did kind of like the huge size. It was so big, and the game version of Venom was bigger than the regular Venom, like from the comics. But my only turnoff I've had to this figure is it's not even necessarily this figure's fault. I don't like the tentacle head attaching to the back and everything like that. I've never liked it since I got the first movie Venom. I don't think they look very good attaching, and they make them very heavy and hard to keep them posed up. Now, obviously, and they're not really comic Venom for the most part. Classic Venom didn't really have those type of things. That's where I think where it kind of plays in a little bit to your idea about the, kind of concept idea for this one a little bit. However, that's my only thing is I just don't like those. And usually that means there's also holes on the back where you have little pieces you can tell are not mixed into the body and stuff. And don't get me wrong, even the video game Venom had that, but it was just the little goose stuff you could attach to the back. I like that better.
Well, it's like the Spider-Man 3 Venom too. They included like a Tom Hardy Venom symbiote Venom head, which was really weird. I agree with you on this one. Like, I wouldn't be using those tendrils. I do think they look cool, but that's not the look I'm going for.
But they're also, I do like them better because they're not like the little Venom face things that the movie ones were and everything. I never really liked that. I like that less.
Yeah.
But the things the positives I really give to this one, I do think that the Venoms, because the one for the video game, even though it was pretty accurate with the like the spider symbol and all that, it was a little bit darker and stuff, not as clear as the white as this one were, which I think was to make it a little bit more organic-ish and stuff with the actual Venom monster.
Yeah.
But I like this where it's very clear, plain, not looking dirty or anything. It's like it may look quote printed on there a little bit, but I like that where it's super white and distinctive. That's the spider symbol on Venom. I think that's where I really. And if you can, one of the other hand ones where it shows off the hands, the backside of the hands there. Or right there, perfect.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that the hands have like in the comics and also from the '90s Spider-Man series where they show it's actually like those white pockets, which is where he shoots the webbing from that he actually.
Yeah, and this one had the swap out feet too, right? This is the one that.
So it looks like boots because for whatever reason in the '90s animated, and I think maybe even in the early comics, it looked like he had boots, not feet with claws on it. It's a very weird thing. Mm-hmm. I probably would just keep him with the boot with the clawed feet because I think those are probably. I don't think I'm going crazy here thinking those would probably be the more stable thing to set him on. This is a great figure though. But the timing for it is maybe really bad for me right now because I have a ton of figures that probably are getting released.
And you're buying all these statues, Lane. You got a little bit.
And I got to get in. I do. Why? I mean, I've got one statue this year.
It's one too many, dude. We got to keep you on the Hot Toys.
No. Well, I mean, I've got 50. I actually had been miscounting for how many Hot Toys I have. I had like 14 more than I thought. I got 50 plus, even including the loss. Not even including the loss of Venom.
I guess we count that Venom as 2, right? The one that you unfortunately had.
No, I count him as 1, and I was still over 50. But I am probably going because I was not going to get him because I had that. That was the one I decided to get. And I just thought I was getting more bang for my buck because I used some points on him, but I got him for like $415 or something like that. So it was when I looked at it was $400 versus $415 for a figure that was bigger, and I like the accessory overall a little bit better. But I am probably going to end up getting this guy. I just got to see can I make it work. Just because I have figures coming that I'm not willing to cancel something to where
you'll just have to Lane that offshore account that you have for all the legal dealings you do. You'll have to move some money from there.
But I'm just gonna finish that. The blogger for this figure for these went crazy. Look at that.
Yeah. I love the lighting here. Love that purplish lighting they used. It looks great. It's great.
One thing, if you have really kind of darkish lighting or something, this is where the very white eyes, the spider signet, even for the pockets on his hands like are really going to show. Like you're really going to notice them and they show up. So I think if that, you know, they did like this, the blogger photos. This helps sell the figure. Like for people who are on the fence or anything. I think
this is someone different, Lane, from that took like the Armory photos that we're going to take a look at. I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah.
For a reason.
But and also here, I think it really highlights all the, like this background, like you said, with the purple.
Yeah.
It really highlights the lighter parts of the figure, like the teeth, like showing off the teeth on the tendrils, his eyes, Venom's teeth. Even though obviously they're kind of like supposed to be black and kind of gross looking, they're lighter than because of the black gooey skin. Yeah. They show off and highlight, and then you have Venom's. Like if you can have some dark lighting, or you do some pictures with some dark lighting, you can make this guy amazing.
I wonder if there are any photos without the tendrils. Here's one without the tendrils. Like that right there, Lane. That's how I would have mine.
Perfect.
Kind of like arms outstretched.
Like
punch down a little bit.
You can just see where he's going like that, tongue out, and he's just going like, well, he's going like, what? You know, he's just going, Spider-Man, I'm going to eat your brains.
Man, we got to get Lane to deal with Insomniac, dude.
Come on, but just like, I mean, the photo, like if I was on the fence about picking this up, because I wasn't sure exactly, you know, even after I had my recent incident. Hey, HD Collector, thanks for joining us.
And Gabe and Manny is with us. Adam 12 in the house. We got a lot of people popping in that we haven't said what's up to. But thanks.
Anyway, I'm going to shut up now so that Chris can go, because I could probably keep talking about this figure.
Yeah, we got to pace ourselves, Lane. We got a lot of stuff that we can chat about tonight. So Chris, I mentioned earlier, and I love this too, like recreating like a comic cover here. Again, that's like kind of like one of the most ideal poses for
before we go into Chris, I just would ask you, because you're the one who's been locked in on this one forever. Do you like it with the mouth open, or do you like it more with the evil smile?
Oh, I kind of mentioned earlier. I like the mouth open. I mean, you know, everybody knows like that iconic look for Venom is when you have like Jose Plus in the Venom cosplay. That's what I'd be going for this one. What's up, Jose? Glad you could make it, dude. We have not got, because a lot of people are of course asking about Harley, and Lane was eager to talk about Harley, so I made sure I spaced it out so we can get some good time for our Harley discussion.
For sure.
Guys, I wanted to bring Jose in tonight, just because Jose and I were chatting about Harley, and you know, it seems like I was telling Jose and some others, like I'm very much in, I feel like I'm in the, I mean, we'll see what you guys have to say about it. I feel like I'm very much in the minority on the Harley in terms of my opinion on it, and I think what Jose has to say is more so echoing what I've seen a lot on Facebook. So I told Jose, like, you know, it'd be great to have him on to chat about it and kind of share our differing opinions and kind of gauge the chat and see how they're feeling about it. Maybe do a poll or two. So that's what we're gonna do. So Jose, I appreciate you making it, dude. Lot of friggin' stuff today, man. 4 releases, 2 announcements, like. That has to be for a reason. That tells me that Wonderfest, they're about to go ham and show us a lot of really cool stuff. And I feel like they probably just wanted to get this stuff out there. And maybe they wanted to shut up InArt as well, because they teased and announced like a new version of Wukong that's only going to be up for a day or two, I think, directly through their website. And the 4th sister, not from Star Wars, from Wukong, they announced as well. And I think that one probably is going to be worth something in the future, because I don't think that many people are going to pre-order it. So... but yeah, Lane, I think I answered your question. I would absolutely display him with his mouth open. I want to jump to you real quick, Chris, because I know you want to share your thoughts on this one. Then we'll get Jose's thoughts, and then we'll move on to our next figure. But Chris, like I said earlier, with yours, this is a very interesting announcement for you, because you had the original, you know, Sony Tom Hardy Venom, and you were missing that spider logo, so you're like, well, let me go and get one of these like vinyl decals that I could just kind of heat press on the chest, and it's removable, and that's what you ended up doing. And it did add a lot to the otherwise like boring design, in my opinion. It's just my opinion of the Sony Venom. I feel like he's just boring in comparison. Really enjoyed the first film in particular, though. I really liked the first one. You know, I haven't seen the third one to this day still, just because the second one I wasn't a huge fan of, but generally speaking, I thought Tom Hardy did a great job in the role. And, yeah, so, Chris, even though you're cutting down on Marvel, just like I am, is this one still going to make its way in your collection, being that you've cut down so much on Marvel?
To shorten it, I would say yes, eventually. I don't know when, but I do want it. So I'm willing to whatever he does in the secondary market pick up, and
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. As far as the figure goes, though, like you said, and Lane touched on a lot, the '90s animated series, that was legit my favorite Spider-Man show
Yeah.
that I ever watched, and like I even rewatched it back in my adulthood at some point. But seeing them try to attempt that Venom, like even though I had the 1.0, tried to recreate that with the vinyl. It updated it for sure, but when they did this, I sold my Tom Hardy Sony version. I do have the bust from Carnage. Carnage is gone. I hope they do a Carnage, but I love the animated eyes on this, the little bit of drool that comes off the teeth. Like,
Yeah.
and then I didn't get a back decal vinyl, so it was kind of incomplete. You saw them from the front, and I had that look, but I didn't have the look from the back. And then,
Yeah.
the little marks on the hands, as Lane mentioned, it's just an all-around great piece. The extra tendrils you mentioned on the base, it's all an upgrade in my opinion. Sure, I think, the smokiness of the eyes from the 1.0 or 2.0 that was with Tom Hardy's version, I did like, but I can get past all that because this thing is just a beast and reminds me of
Yeah.
that animated look. So,
I agree. And obviously, like we said, this is a kind of like a concept piece. It's not necessarily, and I was talking to Brick about this earlier because, Brick and I were talking about Harley, and we somehow got talking about Spider-Man. And as I always like to do, every time I bring up Mondo to him, that's just our way of like picking at each other. And I brought up, I was like, dude, you're talking about this Harley, but you have the Mondo Venom. And he's like, don't get me started on this Venom talking about this one. But he is absolutely right. Like, this is not necessarily accurate to any particular portrayal of Venom. This is more of like a concept piece, and it's kind of, you have to decide for yourself if that's something that you like about it. Because obviously, like those tendrils on the back, it doesn't, to me at least, it doesn't quite fit for this particular look that they're going for. So I won't be using those. But like you said, Chris, like the markings on the hands, and Lane brought up too, like the spider logo on the front and the back. That's what I want this one for. And then also like the stature being much smaller and easier to fit in your display than the VGM Venom. That's why it appeals to me. But
for sure.
yeah,
And the last thing I'll say too, because I forgot to mention, like Lane had touched on the skull. I'll say I've always displayed Venom mouth open. Like you said, that's the way to go. That's
Yeah.
how he opens up in the animated series anyway, when the music's going. Like that tongue out and stuff. You just have to.
yeah. And I wonder too, like that bonus Tom Hardy head where it's like split down the middle. I wonder how cool that would look on this. I feel like it might work. I mean, I don't.
I'm gonna try it. It's magnetic.
Yeah, I don't know how much they've changed the tone of the skin. It might be exactly the same, minus those little purple and blue veins or whatever. But yeah, that probably would look pretty cool on this one because it's still Eddie Brock on the inside, so you could definitely make it work. And what's up, by the way? We got to say what's up to Philly and Manny. I put up your comments, but thanks for being here, my friend. I saw,
what's up, guys?
Earlier. Gabe's in the house. I think I said hi to Gabe. Well, I missed somebody else. But if you're here, what's up, guys? Thanks for being here. We appreciate you guys. Guys, Philly, I'm just sick and tired of you just absolutely flexing on me with your just absolutely amazing Batman display. Like, dude, like, you make me smile every time you post that stuff because it is just so beautiful. And the use of space that you achieved in your display, and it's just simply amazing, dude. And I'm so jealous, and it's something to be proud of. So congrats. And also, Philly, I think you just hit 2K on YouTube, so congrats on that, man. And yeah, congrats on an amazing display. I wish that I could just uproot it from your house and steal it, but that wouldn't be right to do. So I will admire it from afar, but as a huge Batman fan like myself, and I know Jose is as well, we're both very jealous, and I'm just going to speak for Jose, because who wouldn't be, right? It's just friggin'
Well, I've seen it. I haven't seen this final version, but I saw when he was starting it. So I've been there in person. Yeah, so I've seen Philly's collection. So when you go in there,
front
Yeah,
face.
when you go in there, you're kind of just like, you feel like you spend hours in there. We were there one morning, and I was just kind of like looking and looking. He's like, "We gotta go," but I was there kind of just looking at everything, and you kind of get lost in it.
You start talking in a different voice. Where is she?
Oh, don't get me started. Don't get me started on that.
Jose
Don't get me started on
the
that.
Bale voice, so I have to do it around them. But Jose, Batman displays aside, I don't think I've ever talked to you about this Venom, so I'm curious to hear your thoughts on it. And like, do you have the Tom Hardy Venom or the VGM Venom currently in your collection at all? Damn, Jose immediately turned it. He's like, dude, no, we're not talking about Venom. I guess I'll while we're waiting for Jose to come back, let me say what's up to a couple people. See some comments coming through. The collector's coming back around. I said what's up to you when you first came through, but I guess you had dropped your comment and dropped out. Ryan, you're not gonna kick any scale or any hobby to the curb. Those who know you know that you're just, dude, you're in it for life. Anything that you collect, you're just gonna keep collecting 1/12. Your Lego City, your 1/6 scale figures. It's truly never going to end. And so I don't know if you could even do that, dude. I think even if we put you in like Toy Collectors Anonymous, I don't know if it would be successful because you are the ultimate collector. I think it's like it's a tie between you and Moose of like who's the ultimate collector, because you guys just have like the craziest collections I've ever seen, and you make me jealous all the time.
There's only one guy. I will say, for what they collect, there is one guy I can think of at least who would be the statue equivalent of them. It's a guy named Mr. Popo, who is like the statue man of their equivalent as a statue collector, because he does.
Shout out to Mr. Popo, because I ain't got Mr. Popo money, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, how Mr. There is literally saying something on the challenge. There's Mr. Popo money, because he like gets life size and like it's. That Catwoman life size, I was like, I wonder if Mr. Popo was going to buy that. Maybe my first thought when I saw it.
Maybe he will. Malekith asks, is anyone getting that brown suit Wolverine? No, I will not be picking up the brown suit Wolverine. I have tempered my Marvel collection quite a bit just because, there's just so much other stuff coming out. And if I'm being honest with you, full disclosure, like Marvel's just not exciting to me right now. I think it's in like a kind of a tough rut. And that's not to crap.
He'll wait to see Avenger Doomsday lights a fire.
Well, yeah, I want to see like what happens with Secret Wars and Doomsday, and then and I do have faith. I was telling Brick earlier, I do have a lot of faith that Brand New Day is going to be good. So I'm not worried about Brand New Day at all, because I actually really do like Tom Holland as Spider-Man, and so far so good, right? Everything he's been in my opinion,
as long as they can keep him from getting concussion.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Philly says, I'm sorry. I am meant to inspire. Thanks. I appreciate it. Whole collection tour coming soon. No, dude, absolutely is inspirational. I don't have the space to pull off what you pulled off, but dude, it's friggin' incredible. And like I said, from one huge Batman fan to another, it's friggin' awesome, dude. And you did such a great job. And I know you're at a place with it right now, probably where you're like, finally my vision is coming to fruition. So,
hey, sorry about that, man. I got a phone call and it was like connected to my headphones and I could not hear anything you were saying, so it was crazy.
All good. You might have to turn your mic got significantly louder. I mean, you might have just turned your gain down just a little bit. Studio.
Just to answer that question, I am getting the brown suit Wolverine. I have it.
Okay, you're getting it. All right, Jose. I think we're probably good now. Wait.
Okay.
Talk.
Yes. Hello.
Sounds good. All right. So okay. Jose, back to what I was saying. I think I was asking. Yes. So, do you currently have the Tom Hardy Venom in your collection? Is this one you're going for? Are you happy with what you have? If you have the Tom Hardy or the VGM version as well, the gigantic one that we have from the video game.
No, I would never buy the video game one because that's not Venom. I don't know who that is, but that's not Venom. If you know, you know. This one is cool. But I did not buy this one because I do have still the Tom Hardy one, which I'm okay with because I do like to buy like the cinematic versions of the character, and even though I do miss the logo, so if I like the decal thing that Chris was talking about, like that's something I've considered grabbing if it's possible to kind of add to it, especially because I thought that maybe even in the last movie they would give it to him, and that never happened.
Dude,
so
I think we were all hoping for that.
That was unfortunate. I know, really, really unfortunate. And I'm like, I felt like they could have even done it without including Spider-Man. Like he got it from something else. and that's how he got it. But I don't know, organically, some other way. But that never happened. But anyways, I do have that one. I have the Tom Hardy half sculpt that you were mentioning on it. I think that's my favorite. So look for it. I have it next to the Carnage because I have the bust. So I have it next to Carnage, and that's kind of the display, him and Carnage together. So that's it.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to not want to use that, right? Because you kind of get the best of both worlds, and obviously we know the character of Venom is multifaceted. You have that relationship between Eddie Brock and Venom, so to give that full representation, that is a really cool thing to display it with.
Yeah,
but yeah, cool. I didn't know that. I didn't know if you had that or not.
Comment to my man Sal. He was saying that Tom Hardy's not Venom either, arguably. But I would argue that he at least plays Eddie Brock, and that video game one is not. So I think that ends that conversation.
I think it's like because there's so many fans of the video game, so it's like it's going to be like a.
I would raise I would raise that that Venom has been portrayed as the person who was inside Venom.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, but I mean, it's just like Mary Jane was Venom too. Are you going to say she's Mary Jane? I mean, that Venom is Mary Jane or whatever. It's like, it's like that's happened to various characters.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Eddie Brock is Carnage right now.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. Well, I mean,
no, he is.
Lane, we have too many figures to cover. I know you can go on about the comic stuff. We're gonna move on.
Anyways,
but I want to say what's up to my dude Gio. What's up, my friend? Thank you for being here, Gio. As always, guys, check out the movie canon over on his channel. And thanks for being here, my friend. Thanks for being a hotline hottie, as always. Same to my dude Random
Gio.
Korean. What's up, my friend? And a Venom collector. I of course you're getting the Venom. I would hope so.
Of course, yes.
But Venom collector, thanks for being here. Oh, Chris dropped out and came right back in. Venom collector, thanks for being here. Venom's even. Everybody's dropping the Venom comments. But guys, we're gonna move on to this. This is a tough one. This is a very tough one. I think for a lot of reasons, people were kind of not too happy about this one. I want to say this right off the bat. Do I think this is the strongest Bruce Wayne head sculpt from Hot Toys? I don't. And admittedly, I felt like a lot of us, including myself, were a bit tough on the clear armory sculpt. But actually, in person, I really don't hate that sculpt. That set in general, my issues I had with it aside, I thought it was pretty awesome. And I have that in my display. I really do like it. I think the clear armory is so sick. I love the little water droplets and everything. With this head sculpt, do I think it's spot on to Christian Bale? No. But I'm gonna have to say I need to see more because, you know, and this is no shade on this particular photographer, but the one that took these photos, I don't think a lot of the lighting did this sculpt too much justice. The photos of the actual armory itself, I think, look beautiful, and the lighting plays very well, showing off the armory. One thing that was pointed out by Owen, shout out to my dude Owen in the Hot Toys Hotline chat, in the DTOF, they did actually change the color of the lighting in this set, which if you actually go back and look at the screenshots or clips from The Dark Knight, this is kind of closer to accurate in my opinion. When you look at the actual lighting in the film, it's kind of like in between a yellow and a cool white. So in this diorama, this is like overly cool, but I think the original colors, and just like the original set that got kind of 2.0'd or reissued, if you will, depending on how you look at it, that was like super yellow. So I think this is much closer to the tone of light that the armory actually had in the film. What you really have to pay attention to are the shoulders, because when the light casts down on the shoulders of the suit, you can really see what the tone looks like, because it's kind of hard to see those little puck lights even in the shots from the film. But generally speaking, I think this is an actual upgrade, because I do think it looks closer to the film, though not the perfect lighting tone. I do think it looks closer. I love those like vertical bars that come down into the suit. It's a different look than we see with the clear armory. And another thing that I love about this set is it's very DTOF friendly, because this, and I'm not even a DTOF person myself anymore. I was years ago. But I have friends that have DTOFs, and I know some of you guys in the chat have DTOFs. This is a DTOF friendly armory, and that's sick, man. Love that for you guys, because pieces like this, they don't always come around, and you're not always able to fit them in your DTOFs because you do have limited space in that little cube. So love to see that. In this shot here, that side profile, this is how I'll display mine. I love him just kind of staring down the armory. I think it looks pretty good. Again, is it the best Bruce Wayne sculpt I've ever seen? No. I was almost hoping that JC would hit us with one of those little in-hand photos just to kind of give us an alternate look at it. I don't think we have any in-hand stuff yet for this one either. But yeah, I'm curious to see what you guys think. Like this shot right here, you don't have to see the front of the face. We cover it up. Okay? We'll just have him staring at this beautiful armory, looking so good. I mean, this is how I'm going to display mine, I think. Maybe a little bit more of that side profile of the face, but this is kind of how you see him in the film, right? He walks up to the armory. He's kind of looking up and down and kind of picking his poison. So for me, I think this is probably how I'll display mine. But yeah, this is sick, man. I like it. The suit tailoring, it's typical Hot Toys suit tailoring. Could Topo probably do a better job at this suit? I'm not sure if they did this particular suit. They probably have. But the tailoring's, it's not the worst I've seen from Hot Toys. It's just okay. But that's kind of what we expect with suits from them. Never perfect. But yeah, Jose, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this one, dude, because I don't know how deep you've gone for the Dark Knight stuff. Because I know, like, you know, I don't think Bale is like your particular favorite Batman, so maybe you invest a little bit more. And that's not even a joke. Like, I don't know, you probably invest a little bit more in maybe the Batflex stuff and things like that. So do you have any Bale in your collection, or is this one that's like on your radar at all?
You know what's interesting is that we have that conversation, but I've told you many times, Batman Begins is like my favorite Batman film. So it's not necessarily I don't like Bale. It's just I just don't like the Dark Knight suit and some of the choices that he makes with his voice and other aspects of it. But in terms of Batman Begins, that's my favorite suit. So I've never really loved the Dark Knight suit, particularly. I like the movie, but I don't like the suit. I do have the DX19, but I have it on the bat pod and just kind of just there, not doing anything. I did purchase, what was it, the Jackson, who's doing that head sculptor update, or I'm not sure if it's Jackson, right?
Jackson Zoo. He does like a lot of and I have that one on pre-order as well. I actually think, and he updated it after the original pre-order, and I think it looks fantastic. I think it looks better than the cowl that comes with this.
Because the eyes look weird. It's just, that's one of those things that I just don't like. It just looks weird, and like it's one of those things, especially when you have that suit in daylight, you notice it more, where like kind of like that pigeon look. I don't know. But anyways,
it's a tough cowl to nail for sure.
It's just tough. Someone, did you ever see that photo where someone had they opened the mouth a little bit more, like a traditional bat suit, how it would look better? I'm like, oh, that's true. That would have looked better because his mouth is just like this, right? So you only see like this part of his mouth, so that's why it looks a little funnier. Because of the shape of the cowl. Anyways, long story short, I don't have this armory. I wouldn't necessarily want it for that reason. I am gonna update this one with the the Jackson update. And hopefully that will be good enough for me. Even if like InArt did a version, I don't think I would buy it per se. I mean, I would have to be like I would have to be like the most amazing thing ever for me to be like, okay, I want it. You know, I think I would be okay with the DX19 and the updated head. And a head sculpt though, oh man, I mean, you're gonna have to do it. You're gonna have to do it like you're saying, where it's like the side profile. That photo you shared, I think, was the best look on it. The side profile, I think that's the best way. Him looking at the bat suit and all that. And
so now seeing this, I don't know if you saw those like that company. They dropped 3 third-party Batman sculpts. It was 2 Bale sculpts, and then one of them was a Batflex sculpt. I had one where he's smiling, and I actually really liked that. And I just because I wanted to have it, I wasn't quite sure of my plan yet. I pre-ordered it, and now I'm thinking to myself, if I see this in person and I'm really not digging the sculpt, I might have to toss that on the Bruce Wayne body. Because my intention for this one, 100%, is to have him kind of staring down the armory and kind of showing off his gadgets. So I'm curious, guys. I do have to poll this one because I was kind of thinking to myself, like, the ratio of people going for this one versus the clear armory. Those who are this is strictly for those who are picking it up, or if you just want to kind of share, like, I prefer this version. So we're gonna say clear armory versus the TDK one. We'll do that, and then we'll do clear TDK. Because I'm very curious to kind of hear your guys' thoughts on like which one you prefer. So we'll have to poll that. Yeah, and Robert, I know your initial reaction to this one was like, damn, you know. But, yeah, I want to see more of this one. I'm not quite at the level of this is the worst exact Bruce Wayne sculpt. You know what I mean? Like I want to see more. I do think in these photos it looks a little rough, like right here, like and like Jose was pointing out, like I kind of said earlier, like this right here works for me, man. Like I like this. But I wouldn't be opposed to having that little smirking sculpt, because why wouldn't Bruce Wayne be smirking at his toys? You know what I mean? Like all his gadgets and everything. Like it could work, right? It could work. So, but yeah, this is still, you know, to me a very cool set. You know, albeit, you know, we have our thoughts on the head sculpt. Again, awesome that it's detail friendly. You don't get stuff like this too often. That's kind of a creepy shot from from the back there. But,
what's going on there?
Yeah, that's an interesting pose.
Answer yourself, sir.
Like that. Right, I do actually like the look with the sculpt, like suited up with the sculpt on it. I would never display my Batman like that, but I do like it. I think I would more so prefer like Pattinson as the Batman with his head sculpt on, even though that's not how I'm displaying mine. Because I just like that look with that long, like messy hair. Yeah.
That's what's interesting, actually. I have, I don't know, multiple Batmans, and I don't think I'm using like the actor head sculpt on any of them, which is interesting.
I'm not either. It's funny because like with Star Wars clones, it depends on the clone, but a lot of them I do like using the head sculpt, like especially like the Bad Batch, because you know a lot of the show they spend their time with the helmets off, but like Batman is the man in the suit, right? You want to see him in that cowl when he's fighting crime. He's not just pulling his cowl off and, hey everybody, it's me, Bruce Wayne. You know, like generally speaking, like he's in the cowl. He's the Caped Crusader. So I want to display my Batman in the cowl, and that's what makes having multiple versions of Batman interesting from different films or, you know, the animated shows or whatever. The unique detailing of all the different cowls and the costuming, that's what makes Batman special to me, and having all these different versions of Batman in my collection. So for that reason, I always use the cowl. But again, having the Bruce Wayne figure, that's a different story, because that's like part of that duality of Batman. You have Bruce Wayne and you have Batman. So I love the fact that this comes with the Bruce Wayne. I just wish they gave us the Alfred like they did with the previous version of this set.
That's true.
That Michael Caine, man. I'm really hoping still that Hot Toys will just drop that out of nowhere, because I loved Michael Caine as Alfred. So we'll see, but
maybe stop doing 15 of these and do a Lucius Fox, an Alfred
now on the Dark Knight for now. And InArt, like you said, InArt's going to be doing theirs. And Big Dog Pound, I would love a John Wick Armory. I'm surprised they haven't taken a stab at that yet. Like right here, I don't think the sculpt looks that bad. It's just like some of those angles. I agree with Robert. I think that's a good assessment. He does kind of look like de-aged in some of those photos. But here, I don't think it's too bad. I think that looks mostly like Christian Bale, like here as well. Yeah, like it's not too bad. I don't know. I just want to see more. But thankfully, I didn't buy this particular armory just for that Bale head sculpt. The main showpiece is having the armory and having kind of Bruce Wayne staring down all the stuff. That's what it's like for me. But Lane, does this interest you at all? Is this at all in the realm of Lane Kramerness? Are you picking this one up? No.
Mm-mm. Nope. The closest you would have got me was maybe the clear armory.
Yeah.
But that thing was so big, and just the pricing for it just wasn't something in the cards.
I got to tell you, Lane, I had surprisingly a ton of fun putting that clear armory together. Like, it was very satisfying pulling. It has like these trays, and they kind of pull out of the side of the armory doors.
Yeah. And
they kind of have a track that they go on, and it was very satisfying to kind of put them on. They have like these little rubber, like little feet that kind of keep the item pressed down. Mm-hmm. It was actually really enjoyable to put that thing together, and it was kind of daunting at first because you're like, damn, there's a lot of stuff to put in here, but I actually really enjoyed it. It was like therapeutic almost. And also, thank you, Figured Out. By the way, what's up, Figured Out? Figured Out was saying that Topo actually did do this set long ago, so I don't know if it holds up, or maybe they're due for a rerun. Maybe after they're done some of their really cool upcoming projects that we'll be seeing very shortly. We'll see what else they could do, but yeah, keep an eye on Topo, guys. I'm telling you, if you guys have that Terminator 2 T1000, they're doing some really cool stuff. Some really, really cool stuff for that. So
that's happening? You can't, or can you say?
No, they didn't tell me I couldn't say it was happening. I won't say specific details because I'll leave them up to revealing that. But they're like, you know, I came to them with the idea. They were so receptive about it. They bought the T1000, they got it in hand. They're like, oh, you're absolutely right about this, or people were right about this. And I didn't expect them to do as much as they did. Like, yeah, they're doing some. Let's just say, like, they addressed a lot of the issues that a lot of us had. Oh, Chris has like 2 accounts in here. Let me remove the other one. Chris, can you hear us? Maybe.
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
That's so strange.
Yeah, he had 2 accounts in here. Well, but yeah, all I could tell you guys is, because I don't, out of respect for them, they didn't tell me not to, but I would assume they don't want me to reveal it for them. But they're doing a lot for the T1000. So I'll tell you right now, if you're considering buying another T1000 to do the alternate look, do not buy it. Do not buy it. They're doing literally, I wish I could, they're doing like basically everything you could want. And I know a lot of you guys were like, oh, I don't want to, including myself, I'm like, I don't want to scratch my head sculpt because I don't want to put the helmet on there. Don't buy another head sculpt. Don't do any of that. Just wait. Just wait. Yeah, because they're going all out. They really are. Like, I just couldn't believe how much they addressed. I strictly came to them. I was like, I think the hands are way too big, and I think the tailoring could be better, mainly the stitching on the chest and stuff. And they just kind of took that and ran with it, and they were kind of asking me my thoughts on this, what people were saying, and I can't wait, dude. I literally cannot wait to take a look at it.
Can you say if they're giving us a body and new hands?
Yes. Okay, I don't think they'll care if I say they are giving hands. Yes, there will be properly scaled hands and some other things that they rescaled and kind of redesigned. I did bring up the sunglasses to them as well. They haven't said for sure if they would do those because obviously like the finish on the sunglasses is completely wrong. It's like matte. It's supposed to be very shiny, like chrome. But they were open to it. And I even said to them, like, what about like a 2-pack of shades? Obviously, like the new T800 glasses actually, they did improve on them a fair bit. But there's still room for improvement. So, but at the very least, they did say that they would consider doing the shades as like a separate thing. Because they're trying to keep the cost. They said they're trying to keep the costs around $100 for the main set of stuff, which I think is very fair.
I love that. I love that.
Right, rather than paying like freaking over $300 for a second T1000, and now he's completely sold out basically everywhere. So you might be paying more than that. Hey, dude, if you still have one boxed up, throw that son of a gun on eBay or something.
Yeah,
or box it up now.
Especially that it's gone, like it's waitlisted, right? You said.
Yes, he is. I think, as far as I know, the T1000. There might be some stragglers like Big Bad Toy Store, but most places he is gone now. So hopefully that'll save you guys some money to wait for Topo, because that's what I'm doing. I've been tempted so many times to grab another one, and then once I started talking to Topo about the project more, and they seemed very enthusiastic about it, that's when I knew, I'm like, all right, I'm not buying another one, or I'm not going to buy an extra body or anything like that. What's up, Batman Collectibles? What's up, my friend? Batman Collectibles says, evening hotline, glad to see this release, but poor thing. I've got a much bigger project coming to an end very soon. Well, hey, dude, I'm excited to see what you got going on. You always got something cool going on, especially with Batman-related stuff. So thanks for being here, and definitely hit me up and let me know what you got going on with that project, man. I want to know. Just share the details. Philly says, I would really like a good quality, fully loaded Batman Begins. I know, dude. I know. I mean,
we've talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah. To this day, I still share the fact that I think that is the shittiest cape Hot Toys has ever done, is that Batman Begins cape. It is so bad. It's like I'd much prefer to like use it to wipe my face off after I pigged out on a dinner or something. It's, dude, I wish I was exaggerating. It is so awful. Like, I just couldn't believe. I'm like, what am I gonna do with this? And you guys know I'm not a big wired cape guy, so to have an awful wired cape, I can't do it. Can't do it, man. But yes, I would love to see a proper one.
I've talked to him about it, and I've told you before, but InArt, just like they just were like, Batman Begins, what? Like, they just seemed like it seemed so foreign to them. Yeah. They were just like, you know, it's like started talking to them about Ra's al Ghul, and they were like, woo? Like, they just did not care.
Yeah, I think and you know, I'm open. I know you kind of said you probably wouldn't end up picking up a Dark Knight suit from InArt, but seeing their 1/12 scale, I did have that in person. I was very impressed by it, and I don't even think that's just because like it's a cool medium of having like that type of quality 1/12 scale. I truly believe it was a very nice figure, and the head sculpt for the size was fantastic. And yes, it is. I do have the Jackson Zoo cape on mine. Fantastic. It has that Batman Begins like length, because I'm sure you guys know the length of the Batman Begins cape is pretty long. Because he's got that gothic look, right? When he's standing on like those gothic buildings, you can see it kind of drapes down a little bit. But Jackson did a great job on that cape, and I do like that Jackson also, within batches of these different capes, like the Keaton cape, for example, he did do a version 2. I know he did some improvements to the Pattinson Batman cape as well. So he does a service to us Batman collectors. I mean, he's doing mouth plates for the Hot Toys, full cows, like all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're curious, guys, you can pre-order stuff through 1/6 Kit. As always, link in the description for 1/6 Kit. Chris, did you have any thoughts to add before we move on from this Batman Begins Armory? Because we do got to kind of get moving on some more figures, but do you have any thoughts before we move on?
No, man. I think it looks cool. I think it's fun that it's DTOF interactive. Me being a guy with DTOF, stuff like that is pretty cool, especially when you can create a little room to fill out that cube or whatever with, diorama and accessories and stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like I said, as someone who's a former DTOF collector, I always like to kind of analyze things that way and kind of share that if it'll work for you. Does it come in black? I think that's the best quote. I think that's the best quote from the whole film, dude. So another one that crazy that we got this and the Venom in one day, but guys, we have Doctor Doom released, and I think this might be the Doctor Doom to get if you want like a comic representation of Doctor Doom, because I am expecting that most likely RDJ's version of Doctor Doom will probably have a bit of a different like redesigned look to him. So I think if you want this representation of Doctor Doom, I think this is the one to get. And to be honest with you, I think he turned out just like the prototype. So if you were hyped for this, I think it looks friggin' awesome, man. I mean, I really don't have much else to say about it. Nothing bad to say about it. Love the base. I definitely won't be using this. I think it looks a bit over the top for me. Surprisingly, though, I do like him with the Mauser pistol in his hand. I don't know why. I mean, I just think it's cool. And yeah, this is a great looking figure, and the eyes look awesome. Again, I think for a lot of people, this is that Doctor. Like, look at those eyes in there, man. That is freaking badass, dude. They did such a great job on this, and I know a lot of people bought, I think it was S-Hero that did those third-party versions, like the Doom Monarch or whatever they call them. They did, like, the red version, too. I think this is the one to get, and I feel bad for people that maybe bought that Doom Monarch and then saw this and were like, damn, I shouldn't have bought that. But who would have thought that Hot Toys was going to do this? None of us, right? At least I didn't. I mean, maybe some of you guys did. But, yeah, this is one. This actually is going to make it to my collection. I know I've been cutting down Marvel like crazy, but it's Doctor Doom, dude. And, like, I don't think you necessarily need, like, the Fantastic Four or anything to make this one stand out on its own, because it's such, like, it's such a big character, and I think he's just going to have that amazing presence.
And if you got the Fantastic Four movie ones, this one will go perfect with it for at least a year or
yeah, because it's pretty close to that look in the, like, the or at least in, like, the original, I think it's similar to the original Fantastic Four, right? Like, the one that everybody hates on. I think they kind of had a similar look to him in that film, but yeah, man, this is friggin' sweet. Too bad the effects don't actually look like this in person. That'd be friggin' insane.
well, yeah, that would add that little extra bonus.
Yeah, imagine this diorama came with it. That is freaking sick, man. These are, talk about great photos. I really, really dig these, man.
Yeah.
Really, really dig these.
Hey, man, this has been a good 2 weeks. If you're a Doctor Doom fan, PCS put out that Marvel Rivals statue of this guy, and then now the final figure of this one came out, man.
Yeah.
Whew. If you love Doctor Doom, this is the time to be looking around for stuff.
Yeah, man, Lane's always trying. I feel like Lane has like some stake in these statue companies, dude. He's always trying to take our funds away from 1/6 and get us into these statues, man. Lane's gonna get me to buy this PCS Vader bus one day, as if I need a lot of convincing. I think Lane's gonna.
I'm gonna. You were the one who was telling me, "Oh, I think I'm gonna get this." I didn't even bring that up.
Lane's just whispering in my ear, gentle whispers.
Yeah, I'm. I am the collector whisperer, so I'm getting it, like being able to put things into people's brains. Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah, this Doom's really cool. I don't want to spend too much time on it because I want to have a nice lengthy discussion about Harley. Before I forget, let me close the poll here. 41% said clear, 59% said the Dark Knight Armory, the one we just looked at, is the one they would go for. So doesn't surprise me. Again, smaller. I think it's a bit cheaper as well. We got Chris back in again, a bit cheaper as well. So it doesn't surprise me much. But yeah, I'm excited to get this. Jose, is this one that you picked up? Are you picking up this Doom?
No, I stay clear of the comic line, even though I really, really like it. I just can't. So it's one of those where it's like, oh, it's comic line. It's like one of those. It's like a stormtrooper for me. I just don't buy those. It's just like, no. I admire them. I think they look nice. I think this looks really, really cool, especially if you have a comic line, right? Spider-Man and all the Hono characters they've done with the Wolverines and all that. So if you have those characters and you want to add the Doctor Doom, I think this is a really, really nice looking piece. But yeah, not one for me.
Yeah, and it's funny too. Like I have a lot of those Hono figures, and I've been like kind of phasing those out of my displays just because of all the space it takes up, and again, like kind of making room for other things. And this one just, I just, you know, the more I look at it, I'm like, yeah, I want this one. I want to keep it in my display, and I think he's just so unique looking, and I don't think we'll get another Doctor Doom like this. Like, yes, obviously there'll probably be an RDJ version, but we don't know what that's going to look like. So yeah, this is really cool. And yeah, a big dog pound. I think a lot of this comic stuff, surprisingly, won't make it into people's budgets because there's just so much other stuff coming out. Like you know that weirdly enough, like that Avengers against Aliens, Miles Morales. Obviously, we heard like Sideshow sent the email saying that, you know, basically we might not get this. Lane said he spoke to Sideshow and they said we are not getting this. So that's going to be an interesting one. It'll be interesting to see like how that gets played on the secondary market. Does that shoot up the value, or is it like a version of a character that no one really cares about? It could go either way. But
wow,
yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Sideshow's not getting them. I actually really wanted that one, obviously for the Alien connection. So I picked that one up from Wanted Toys, so I have that on the way, at least, or either today or tomorrow. I don't know if they shipped it out or not.
Hey, you know, even though it's literally using the body and suit from the anti-venom suit for Spider-Man 2 is like the base for it pretty much. Like that is an actual, like the insignia being it's like a face hugger style insignia and everything. It really, the Alien versus Avengers story is actually really good. What could have been just a, you know, crappy throwaway crossover. But
yeah,
I think people might be interested in that one going forward, especially if nothing more, because the base and the face huggers, I think, are taken from the Rain figure. Yeah, Valkyrie's exactly right. That one, the special mask and stuff that comes with it, it does remind me a ton of Doctor Doom from Spider-Man and Amazing Friends, which was Doctor Doom, like, you know, 1980, 81-ish time frame. It looks exactly like that.
Yeah, it's really cool. And by the way, thank you, Valk. You are too kind, my friend. Thank you for contributing to the Howard Chan allowance, the $4.99 super chat. And yes, Valk is talking about the Doctor Doom, like Lane said, referencing that special extra mask that you get. But yeah,
here's the main event.
Yeah, I do want to move on though, because I want to talk about Harley, and I know a lot of people are going to have their thoughts on this Harley. So I want to start with my opinion on this one, guys, because I feel like I mean, I don't know how the chat's going to feel about it. Obviously, I don't want to make any assumptions, but I feel like based on some of my buddies I've been talking to that I'm in the minority on this one and kind of seeing the Hot Toys comments, I'm going to be the one to say it. I don't think this head sculpt is that bad. I see a lot of people saying it looks nothing like Margot Robbie. I'm sorry to tell you, I can't agree. And I'm okay being in the minority on this one. And there's a couple of things that go into that, right? I think one of the big things that is throwing this off for a lot of people, and I've seen people mention this, is the expression. Because all the previous Harley Quinns we've seen, for the most part, have been very expressive, right? Like, you know, the original Suicide Squad 1 Harley Quinn has that wide open mouth, kind of that super expressive look, which, you know, a lot of people were like, I don't want to see that come back again. I remember when we had that second Harley Quinn come around, I know a lot of people were like, oh, I don't want to see the same expression again from the first one. And so I think probably for a lot of people, it's the lack of expressiveness in the face that's throwing it off for them, because Harley Quinn, as we know, is a very expressive character. But I personally am willing to die on the hill that I still think this looks like Margot Robbie. Shout out to I think his name on Instagram is Six Scale Treasures. It's a buddy of mine that I talked to on Instagram. He did some comparison photos, and again, for me, and this is how my mind perceives it as I'm looking at photos of her compared with Margot Robbie. Do I think it's like 100% spot on? No, but I still think it looks like Margot Robbie. When I'm seeing like a lot of people say it looks nothing like her, I share the opposite opinion. I think it looks like her. Is it expressive enough to be Harley Quinn? Maybe not. But I still see Margot Robbie in there. And I know I'm probably in the minority on that one because I've seen a lot of comments. Trust me, I've seen them. I was talking to Brick, and Brick was telling me that
shout out Brick.
Yeah, Brick was telling me that this looks like Michelle Pfeiffer, and he completely lost me there. I'm like, I sent him a picture.
It does look like Michelle Pfeiffer.
I don't agree at all. I sent him a photo of Michelle Pfeiffer. He's like, of course you pick a picture of her when she's older. And I'm like, she looks even less
Young
like
Michelle
when she's
Pfeiffer.
younger. And Brick sent me photos, and it was like the top of Harley's face and the bottom of Michelle Pfeiffer's face. And I'm like, that doesn't help anybody because you're just putting one face on the other. Like, it doesn't show the complete comparison.
I can safely say, having seen like young Michelle Pfeiffer in like Scarface with Al Pacino,
yeah,
I'm not. I've seen that movie like 12 times. I am not picturing that when I look at this figure at all.
I'm not either.
Like,
I did see some other people mentioning that they think it looks like Michelle Pfeiffer. Again, it's one of those things. This is extremely divisive. I do think, again, I think I am in the minority, and I will, address some of your guys' comments as well because I want to see what you guys have to say. And we'll probably should pull this one as well. But I've seen people saying this looks terrible. I've seen people saying this is an awful head sculpt. It's a cosplayer, all that stuff. And you guys are entitled to your opinion. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. I just don't feel that way. And I have a ton of excitement for this figure, even still with seeing all the negativity behind it. Because again, this is a look I really wanted. We're looking at this photo here. Crazy that Hot Toys is showing us like the double caked up shot of the custom seamless silicone body. That is absolutely wild to me, but it also is kind of crazy because it looks like the proportions on her are pretty awesome. I think the body looks great. It's awesome that they've printed like the tattoos and stuff on the skin. Hopefully there's some longevity there. I still would say be very careful like rubbing against those because who knows how durable those are going to be. I don't know. But yeah, to me, I love it. I've seen obviously also people kind of going back and forth between Sculpted or Artisan and what looks more realistic. Do I think the hair is 100% perfect when it comes to Artisan? It could be tweaked a little bit. I think the ponytails maybe are kind of a little too pushed out from her head.
100%.
Yeah, and then
That's
initially,
correct.
like I saw some photos where she kind of has more like kind of waves intertwined with her hair. But if you look at multiple shots throughout the film, it kind of changes throughout the film. So
Yes.
I'm not
Correct.
going to hate on this. And then another thing that I initially thought, but then I changed my mind on it. I thought the hair color on the dip was a little bit too light, but actually, and again, in some shots, it does kind of look like this. So generally speaking, I think they do need to kind of push the ponytails a bit closer to her head. And I think that'll help a little bit. But I like it. I pre-ordered the Artisan. Obviously, we brought it up earlier. Sideshow put this up at 2:30-ish EST in the morning, which really sucks for like Jose, who's on the West Coast. That's like kind of BS for them, which is crazy because they are from the West Coast. Sideshow is a West Coast-based company in California, so it is crazy.
I was still awake. Yeah.
So Jose was still awake, but us
Yeah.
in the East Coast, I guess I'm kind of assuming like some people that go to sleep early that live on the West Coast, what I mean? Like if they go to sleep early, they're waking up and they're like, what the? They may have missed out because I think it did sell out the Artisan version. I think it lasted.
It was still up in the
7,
morning,
8
right?
hours. Yeah, I think it was like 7-8 hours that it lasted, somewhere in between there. But yeah, guys, I had to start off with my opinion on it. We'll look at the sculpted version as well. Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at it. I can't unsee Margot Robbie. I've really tried, and Jose made some valid points on his end. I can't unsee it. I can't unsee it.
Oh,
It looks like
gosh,
Margot
man.
Robbie. So Jose has a very different opinion to me. I want to jump to Jose so we can kind of share two sides to the coin because, again, those in the chat that think this looks like Margot Robbie, there's at least one other person that's with you. Because again, I know the vast majority of people so far that I've seen, they felt complete opposite. But do I think it needs to be tweaked? I think the eyes could be tweaked a little bit for sure. I think I would start there. I think the eyes would benefit from being tweaked a little bit. And I think maybe her forehead needs to be widened slightly. I think that would help a little bit. But that's my thoughts on it. Jose is ready to explode. He's ready to be like, well, I can.
No.
Jose, no, I'm just joking. We'll jump to you,
No.
Jose. Again, Jose, we had a discussion this morning. We were talking about it. You're like,
We did.
dude, I couldn't disagree more. And I'm like, I liked your idea. Like, let's talk about this on the stream. So, Jose, what are your thoughts on this Harley Quinn, man?
Man, you've set me up like just go for it. It's like, you know what?
Dude.
I hate the expression that you mentioned earlier about like it looks nothing like that person. I've never liked it, even when I'm on the other side where I'm like it clearly is that person. You look at they're wearing the outfit, they have the look. There's accuracies there in terms of who it's supposed to be representing. So for you to go and be like that looks like nothing like that person, I think that's a little overboard. So I've never liked that. So I don't want to say that here. But I think it's not Margot Robbie like for the most part, you know what I mean? Like I can see that it's supposed to be her, but it just doesn't. It's like, for me, it's just like I do not see it like you see it. You know what I mean? And it's like it's subjective, obviously. You know, you see it more than I do. I definitely see the comparisons with Michelle Pfeiffer. I've seen a photo where I put it side by side, and I was like, oh, I even see it even more now. And maybe that's causing me to be like, I don't really see Margot Robbie. There's a couple shots, there's a couple angles where I'm like, okay, I can see a little bit of Margot in there, but it's not. I would say maybe like a very small percentage of that sculpt looks like her to me. I do think the hair looks better on the sculpted, and usually, generally, I'm like, I want realism, so I want the real hair, quote unquote, because for me, I think that sculpted sometimes looks too plasticky, and then at that point, it does look more like an action figure versus an actual person that you want, on your shelf in your collection. But I do think that because this is sculpted, they were able to put a couple more roots in it and make it look a little bit darker with a dirty blonde, which I think is a little bit more accurate, versus the Artisan. It's like that platinum blonde hair,
very blonde, very blonde.
Yeah, so it's not as accurate. The pigtails are not accurate in terms of. I didn't feel like it looks more accurate on the sculpted, because on the other one it looks like really high up.
So like they kind of blouse, like we were talking about. They blouse too far away, which you can see in the sculpted. They are much closer to the shoulders and to the face.
Yeah, I will tell you that I was up and I went on the site because someone else posted about it. I think it might have been Yomo. So shout out to Yomo. I think he posted about it on socials, and I clicked on the sideshow link and it was right there. And I was really, really surprised.
Yeah,
like that
Yomo
has to be
was
the
the first one I saw too. So shout out to my boy. Yomo.
I was really, really surprised because I went on the sideshow website. It was literally just a tab. Like I could click on the Artisan and I could have put it in my cart and put a pre-order, no problem. And I was like, what? I was like, how is that possible? I was like, there's no queue, there's no date set up for when it's going to go up, nothing. It was just straight up like, do you want it or not? And I experienced really severe FOMO because I love the character of Harley Quinn, from her animated creation to the comic books to her live action debut and Margot Robbie. I mean, for me, it's like I'm kind of nostalgic to the movie. Like I remember watching it in the theater. I saw it in IMAX. I was with a couple of boys. I even remember the first look when David Ayer showed the first look of the Suicide Squad of all of them together, the official group shot. And I saw that shot. And I was like, wait, why is she not in her black and red? Like, what's going on here? Like, it was like baby blue and pink or whatever. And I was like, what's going on here?
Do
you
remember when this movie came out? It was like the Halloween costume of the year for females.
Yeah,
it was insane. I mean, granted, obviously, elephant in the room. She looked incredibly hot in this film. Like, she looked great, and every girl wanted to dress up as Harley Quinn in this look. And I agree. I was kind of hoping for that classic Batman the Animated Series Harley Quinn with the black and red. And I saw this and I'm like, I love it. It grew on me so fast. I really do like this look.
It grows on you. It grew on me, and now people perceive this look as her definitive look, at least in live action, right? So it's like people see this look and they're like, okay, that's Harley Quinn from the movies. And so that's one of the things for me. I was looking at it and I was like, should I just pre-order it? Should I just pre-order it? Should I just do it? Should I just do it? And I was like, no, because for me, one of the things right now, it's like there's so many great things coming out, great figures with great sculpts, it's just so many good things that are coming out that I'm like, if I'm not 100% sold on it, I shouldn't pre-order it. You know what I mean? And I'm not currently sold on it 100%. And I thought about it and I was like, look, if it improves, and I'll pick up the sculpted, I'm sure I'll find it somewhere. There's a couple retailers that are carrying it, even if Sideshow waitlist, I'll pick up because I do want this look and I do want this particular Harley. But unfortunately for me, this isn't good enough. I don't think this is good enough. It's someone, like I said, I'm really passionate about the character. I think Margot Robbie's a great actress. I watch all her films. I've told you how I went above and beyond to see her in person twice. I drove once to a live recording of a talk show because she was going to be on it promoting Barbie, and I wanted to see Margot Robbie in person, and I got to see her in person. And so I've seen her, and I'm not name dropping. I'm not trying to see I know better than you, but it's just like I've seen Margot Robbie in person, and I'm not seeing her here. You know what I mean?
What is the joke I made to you earlier? I was like, well, I've never seen Jenna Ortega in person.
Yeah. But it's funny because to me, it's like I'm on the other side of that coin. I was like, I can see we're talking about like, oh, you know, like nostalgia, and that may be blinding you because you really want this character.
Yeah.
And you spoke about how like the same thing for Wednesday. Like for me, like the representation of the
It
character,
definitely
I like
plays
the
a
actress
factor for us,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
And there's no denying that. And like you were kind of describing exactly how it is for me. I fell in love with this look because I thought it was so fitting, and I thought Margot just embodied Harley Quinn, how I would have pictured her in live action. And I think she did a great job, and I fell in love with this look. So like when they announced the red and black version from the James Gunn Suicide Squad, I was like, this is badass. Like this reminds me of Batman the Animated Series. And I'm sure you guys remember me on stream saying, I'm like, but I wish we got this one. This is the one I wanted. Because obviously there was a rumor that we had shared at the time there was going to be an Artisan Harley Quinn, and it ended up being the James Gunn Suicide Squad. So for me, this is awesome because I really always wanted this suit. And I will say, the sculpted version also looks fantastic, like in terms of how they've done the hair. I do think this will probably be an improvement over the 1.0, being that they've done a great job in the past couple years with making the hair much more flexible. I know with the first version, a lot of people had issues turning the head and then knocking one of the ponytails out of the socket. I think this one will probably be improved in that regard. So I wouldn't worry about that too much because I do think this hair will probably be much more flexible than the previous version. Apart from the likeness aside, Jose, what are your thoughts on the body? Because I was very, very impressed by that. Obviously, Hot Toys gave us like some eye candy, some like really sensual shots of the figure, if you will. But
sure,
it looks awesome, dude. Like, I don't know how you
So
feel about it.
I will say that I actually put on the movie last night because I wanted to rewatch it and kind of see her in the film and kind of how gauge in terms of how she looked in that movie.
Yeah.
And what I thought was confirmed when I watched the movie, this body is good and it's clearly feminine and clearly very sensual, but it's not accurate to Margot Robbie in this film. She is a little too curvy for her in the movie. She wasn't that caked up in the movie. Now they do have a couple shots
Like it's
that
not,
focus.
it's not like too bulbous there, I guess.
I mean, here it doesn't look too bad, but that other shot where it's like it kind of looks a little. Maybe
Yeah,
there was. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they was like that's
the
kind of
legs
manipulation.
that way.
Yeah,
right.
it's
Like, you know,
the
some
manipulation
girls take a
of
photo and they know their angles.
yeah,
and
they
stuff.
arch their back and they can do a little.
So
I don't know if that's
here,
how
like,
they did it.
Yeah, maybe here it does look, I guess, a bit closer to Margot Robbie's proportions. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she was thin, so it's like she's a little thick here. I mean, I do think it's obviously an upgrade. It's obviously an upgrade in terms of what we had before, right? So that's what I'm like. That's one of the things for me. Is just like it's clearly an upgrade. I do love this outfit. I do love this interpretation. I love the character. So it's like it's hitting on all those marks. But again, I look at this and I'm like, I don't think that's Margot Robbie. Like even in this shot here, I'm like, okay, I can kind of see it there on the right on that right shot there with the sculpted. I'm like, I kind of see it there a little bit. I just think like the eyes. Also, if you look in terms of the skin tone, she's supposed to be a little bit more white.
Yeah,
right there's kind of pinkish.
That. I do. Agree
she's
with
a
that,
bit.
She's got like super white skin. Like it's almost like she's got like a white powder on her face, which is how she looks, obviously, in like the animated portrayal. And in the comics, she's got like that super white face. But, yeah, I mean, and this is what Jose, like we were talking about, like, you know, differing opinions and you know, kind of how we were gauging like the Hot Toys comments and stuff. And I think this makes for such interesting discussion because you see it completely differently than I do. But we're able to talk about it and we're able to share our thoughts with the chat. And there's always going to be somebody in the chat that agrees with you and so somebody that agrees with me. And I just absolutely love that. And I think you know, although I don't agree with everything you said, I think you made great points because you're pleading your case just like I'm pleading mine. And you know, I don't disagree with everything. Like I agree. I think the eyes could be adjusted a little bit. I think the face, I noticed that too when I was looking at side by side shots. I'm like, oh, her face looks more like flesh and less like white, like it's supposed to be.
100%. Yeah, especially with the 6 scale treachery. Shout out to him again. Those photos, the comparison shots you were referencing earlier, you can clearly see it there, and you can clearly see the pigtails are wrong. Like the curls on her bangs are wrong. So there's little things like that where it's just kind of like
yeah, I agree. But again, like for me, I'm still very happy with it. I like the sculpt. If it gets tweaked, awesome. If not, you know, and you mentioned like, you know, you don't, and I kind of brought this up to Brick earlier because I know Brick loves this character and he's like, dude, I think it looks nothing like Margot. and he still pre-ordered the Artisan. It is not to call Brick out. It's just an example.
Shout out,
it's
Brick.
Right.
No
how
way.
Collectors are different, dude. Like, Brick is willing to. I want the representation, so I'm going to get it anyway. I've kind of changed my collecting recently. I don't want to do that anymore. I told Brick this. I'm like, I want to be happy with something if I'm spending $400 on it. You know what I mean? And
yes.
That's what I told Brick. I'm like, dude, if you're not happy with it, like, you know, don't order it. Wait and see. But his love for the character, and we kind of brought this up earlier, it like trumps that, you know, because you want this version of this character. And I know Brick was with me. He was like, dude, I want this version. And Yomo, I know you brought up wanting the black and red version. Lane might cancel his, so maybe hit him up. Maybe try to buy it off of him. He might be willing to do it. I don't know what Lane's thoughts are on that, but I don't want to volunteer him for everything, but I know Lane is considering it. I don't know what his plans are, but yes, I was talking to Brick about that. I'm like, you know what? If you're not 100% sold on it, dude, like, don't spend the money. Wait and see if they update it. But I get it. Like, sometimes that fandom comes out, and you're like, I just have to have it. I want that version of Harley Quinn, or I want that T800 Endoskeleton, even though it's not full die cast. You know what I mean? Equan's actually kind of relaying what I had brought up earlier about the previous version where the hair pieces were falling out. And again, I do have faith that the sculpted version this time around, the hair is probably going to be more flexible. I would hope that Hot Toys uses a little bit better glue, because that was a pretty common issue. I've seen multiple Harleys. They're like, hey, I'm selling this Harley. Only thing is she's missing one of her pigtails. I'm like, who's going to buy that? You know, you have to like give that thing away.
Oh, gosh.
So, yes, I agree. And, you know, it sucks because the price point of these Artisans especially is so high. We're probably rarely ever going to see 2 head sculpts, if ever, you know, because it just raises that price point so much. Robert's kind of talking about what we were talking about earlier with the color of the hair being like very blonde on the Artisan version. And yes, that's the crazy thing. He does have a point here, but it's like, with all of these things, you look at different scenes and it changes scene by scene sometimes. And like, that's the same with costuming. Like Hot Toys, they will look at a certain reference material and that's what they go off of. And that's what they think it looks like, or InArt as well. Like, you know, they go off of that specific example and that's what they base their figure off of. So, I mean, you aren't wrong. I do know what you're talking about. And when she does first come out of that bath, she is like very bleach blonde, but Jose's not wrong. Like in some scenes, it is darker, like we see in the sculpted version. So it's tough. Like it just varies throughout the film. And like I said, I was looking at things. I'm like, oh, is that inaccurate? Oh, it technically isn't, because it looks like this. You know, it's just so crazy how that works.
So
it's tough. It's tough. I before letting you jump in there, I just want to shout out to Brick. I'm gonna give you a hard time about this later when we talk about this. So I don't know why you did this. How dare you? I'm just kidding. Go ahead, Lane.
Yeah, Lane, we'll jump to you because Lane, I know this is one that has a special place in your heart. Margot Robbie in general. In this role,
you know, I've been waiting for this figure for like 3 years.
Yeah,
I'm just going to disagree with Jose. I look at this, I see Margot Robbie, Harley Quinn. Is it perfect 100% like this? Definitely not.
Which Jose, because usually Lane is against me on a lot of sculpts, so I got lucky on this one. I got lucky.
The cheeks, everything like that, I see Margot Robbie Harley. Now, I did send to you some pictures I took because I own the J&D 3rd scale statue of Harley. That's costed like $3,000 of this particular look and everything. And that one has been for years kind of similar thing with this. Take it or leave it for how it looks. She's showing more teeth and stuff when she's smiling, and they like the J&D put out videos that shows them giving you nightmare fuel as you see them put glass eyeballs in. But my one thing is kind of the hair with the Artisan one here, and it might be just the posing they're doing, because I sent you some pictures, because that is, she has that statue has rooted hair. So I'm used to dealing with this particular hairstyle as rooted hair, as I have for a couple of years. I look at it, I see Margot. However, I'm going to admit, I don't get bogged down in the details about every little crease or line unless it like really bothers me. Yeah. I would like to see, especially maybe in some of the cheek areas, stuff like that, maybe a little improvement, or maybe even its paint applications to it. Because I see her like 85%.
Lane, how would you feel though if someone comes to your collection room and they see this Harley and say, "Oh, you have a Harley Quinn," and they go up to it and they're like, "Wait, is that supposed to be Margot Robbie?" How would you personally feel about that?
Dude, we don't know if they're gonna say that. They could be Team Lane and I, dude. It depends.
No, I'm just saying. I'm like,
No,
let's just say they say that. Let's go on the hypothetical. They go and they say,
I would
they
ask
give you
them-
this look. Is like, is that supposed to be Margot Robbie?
I would go yes.
I've had that happen with a lot of
Freak out
figures
of my
before.
collection room, buddy. I
I'm
don't give
gonna,
a rat's ass. That's what I'm saying.
I can easily look at this and I see Margot Robbie Harley Quinn from the movie. Now, I do agree with you. The behind side, that's a little bit too much.
Lane, a little extra cheek.
Yeah, that's definitely figure body feel to it for a little.
I
bit
think the
of
shorts are like a little even tucked into her butt a little too much there because they're not. That was not how it looked.
But, hey, the one thing we'd say it's kind of hard to say because we have literally seen all of Margot.
Lane, let me cut you off
Things
real
that
quick.
walk.
Chris actually has to go because I know he has something.
Oh yes.
Chris, thanks for being here, dude. I know it was hard for you to make it. I appreciate you. And,
Yeah, bro.
Godspeed, soldier.
Yeah.
Yeah, appreciate y'all. Have a good night. Thank you,
See you,
chat.
Good night, Chris.
Night.
Let me guys ask you though, because I do feel a little bit. Maybe it's because of the coloration of how they did it for the prototype here for the sculpted hair. I do feel like the likeness feels a little bit more on the sculpted version actually right now versus the artisan. Maybe because it's from the pictures, from the coloration and everything of the hair seems to like match up with their face a little bit better to me. So, and that one feels a little bit more accurate to me than this one right now. But to me, honestly, this is all about the body and the improvements over it versus the original. The one reason on the secondary market I can never pull the trigger and never buy the Harley, despite how much I wanted it, is I would look at those knees and it would make me nuts. Like, I would lose my mind.
That to me, Lane, was one of the biggest upgrades. First and foremost, like when you first get your glimpse of the figure, that body to me is like a really nice upgrade over that original. Because I call them ham hock knees. That's what I call the original.
It is going to mean you probably have to be careful with how you pose her with a almost fully seamless body.
Of course, of course.
But you had to worry about the same thing with like the Arkham Knight Harley or something with hers with the arms and everything back in the day.
That's crazy big.
That's great. Well, I guess one thing is I think it also for this versus the original, it depends what kind of facial expressions you prefer for her. This one to me, I actually like the slightly. I do kind of wish maybe there was a little bit more they had used a shot like kind of when she had the smirk and everything, not the like laugh out loud look. But there were a couple points in the movie where she had more of a smirk on her face.
I think if she was showing a little bit of teeth with this.
Yeah, just a little bit.
People would like that a little bit more.
Yeah, just so it looks like she's got a kind of that more like mischievous smile almost she had a couple times throughout the movie. Right before she was about to cause some mayhem or bad stuff was about to happen in the movie. I'm a bigger fan of the original Suicide Squad than a lot of people, even though I kept most of that movie going. So why is the Enchantress using like belly dancing? Her magic magic power ability. But overall, I'm super happy with this figure. However, I do think this one is easily you can just get the sculpted one and you'll be gravy. Because it literally comes with pretty much everything the original one did. I totally get that.
Sorry, Lane. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I do feel the Enchantress heart theme with the special edition's a little gruesome. I'm like, do we actually need that? Like, really? I like the Soul Taker sword, but I don't know if we need that.
Sorry, my Facebook Messenger literally will not load, so I can't show your photos. I feel bad, but I've been refreshing it over and over again. None of my chats are loading.
Well, it might be.
You guys can look up pictures of the J&D statue.
Yeah, because I would like, because that one has more kind of what I was meaning. She's got kind of her mouth open, kind of in a like devilish grin, showing some of her teeth and stuff. Even though it's a little bit more than this, but
and
to me, where I do agree with. I'm not going to agree with Jose that it doesn't look like Margot Robbie. He'll never in a million billion years ever be able to get me to.
He did clarify. He didn't say it completely didn't look like her. He did clarify that.
Okay.
Brick, however, he's not off the hook. He said it looks nothing like her, and all he says is
Michelle Pfeiffer. Well, the Michelle Pfeiffer thing, I saw that too. I'm like, That was definitely not something like I'm just like I'm no sorry, can't agree with that ever. But I would like to see them maybe do a little bit of tweaking to the head sculpt. But Margot Robbie and like everything of her ever made seems like they just a little bit off with their facial sculpt. Just like Keanu Reeves seems to always be like in his John Wick figures half the time. It's you can look at them and you're like you can see them up to 90%, but there's like one sideways glance and you just go, oof, like what happened? Like I was here. I saw Keanu, and then one look and it doesn't quite work. But I had someone tell me today, it's like you picked this up. Weren't you complaining about the JND like Keanu Wick? And I was saying that one looked
called
bad.
you out.
Yeah, I said absolutely that one. I'm like that's
This
Keanu.
looks a lot better than the J&D Keanu.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I was
guy.
like I responded. That's Keanu Reeves. That's his idiot second cousin. That J&D one. And I'm a J&D guy. I usually am a big supporter of their sculpts. But I
don't know, man. This to me, this feels like third party Toys era. We're trying to do a Margot Robbie head sculpt. That's to me. That's what it's like. It was close.
Jose's trying to do some fighting words here, man.
I mean, that's
Mortal Kombat.
It's like third party. Sometimes they'll get some of the likeness there. Like you'll kind of see who it's supposed to be. I think quickly about like the Mars Toys Riddler. You know what I mean? Like the Mars Toys Riddler. You know that's supposed to be. I wasn't talking bad about you, Brick. I said you know what I mean.
Brick, you can come on right now, dude. Brick, you can come on right now, dude. If you want the link, I'll send it over. I'll bring you in.
Brick must be just
bring him in. Bring him on.
Brick must be. I mean, well, Brick just probably has other things where he probably can just do some Facebook posts and stuff. But I don't. I'm sorry, Brick. I don't know you. I can get where you could maybe like Jose pointed out. You could see maybe if you have an opinion that certain viewpoints of her just don't match up completely, like or you're not feeling the likeness. Especially if you're getting the Artisan figure for $400 figure.
So torn, dude. The chat is so torn.
But we're never I mean, we got to wait to see the final thing because Hot Toys lately on their final products for a lot of figures has really been nailing the look to them. I don't know why, but Hot Toys is like having the Artisan version may come as far as March of 2027. So, I mean,
I think they will probably get those much closer, but I'll say this. Brick and I had we had a long discussion earlier about it, and I talked to Jose, I talked to my dude Flavio, I talked to some other friends. And again, what I've deduced from this is it's very torn, and I'm actually surprised looking at the poll. And I want to keep the poll open a little bit longer so you guys can get your votes in, but the poll is much more positive than I truly expected, if I'm being honest with you. Because like I said to Jose, and I said it to Brick too. Dude. So I also... dude.
Wow, Brick saying this is surprising.
Dude.
I'm sure that eventually they will do her. Like I'm 100% InArt will do her eventually.
This is just such a divisive figure. We got to leave it at that because we could go back and forth for hours on.
And we got another one that we probably should not be feeling so divisive.
Rick said it's the only reason it looks like Margot is because it's Harley. Like I said, to each their own. If you think it looks like Michelle Pfeiffer, then it looks like Michelle Pfeiffer. It's one of those things, like, if there's going to be divisiveness, you have to find your own enjoyment in it. If this is a version of Harley that you've been waiting for forever, and you're like, I see Harley Quinn, you gotta kind of have to make your own, decision on that. Like I've done with mine, like, everybody joking on it in the chat or joking on the Hot Toys page, like, that doesn't affect my enjoyment. You guys spend your money just like I do. So if you think it looks like shit, I wouldn't spend $400 on this. If I thought it didn't look like the character, and that's not, about anybody in particular, but I wouldn't spend my money on it either. I don't blame you guys. And there's been figures like that before where I'm like, this looks nothing like this, but like the Joseph Quinn sculpt for Human Torch, I don't like that sculpt at all. And even when like the photos came out from JC Hong, I'm like, oh, that's rough, man. I don't like it. I don't like it. So it happens. It's like with every figure, there's going to be divisiveness, and some obviously more than others. And I think the reason this is also very divisive is because, like Jose and I were talking about earlier, this is like a very, very sought after version of this character. This is what a lot of people wanted. Yes, the red and black suit is popular, no doubt about that. But I think this is the one a lot of people wanted because this is like that introduction to Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, and she did such a fantastic job in a film that was also very divisive. You know, some people hated it, some people thought it was okay, some people loved it. You know, but I'm excited for this, man. I can't stop smiling looking at it because this is just I put off that one, and I can't tell you how many times I was close to pulling the trigger on that 1.0, and I was like, I just can't pay $400 for this sucker, so I didn't, and I waited, and my patience, fortunately, this time has been awarded. Not always.
That is the truth.
Brick is 7 out of 10. More like 6, maybe.
I think
me personally,
people think that 7 out of 10 is a bad score. It really isn't. Like 7 out of 10, that's a pretty fair score. You know, like could be worse. It could be a 6. 70%. That's pretty decent.
I think it's a 6. I think it's like you did enough to kind of get a D to pass. You know what I mean? I mean, you didn't fail completely, but you did the bare minimum.
At least 8 out of 10. At least 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I would
8. Okay, so no way. How is this an 8? You both have acknowledged it's not perfect. How is that? It's not anywhere close.
It's not perfect,
but it's an 8.
Yeah, that's an 8.
Like,
that's an 8.
And eight's basically a B, right? I mean, like we're talking about.
Exactly, I think it's a B.
Again,
it's like no way.
Hold on.
No way.
Yeah.
So for me, first of all, in my
when is
state,
D passing?
In my state, in public schools, that is passing. 70% is passing. For me, it's an 8 out of 10 because I don't have too many issues with the head sculpt. Again, this is like one of those things we could go on and on about it, but it's a divisive topic. You know, you either think it looks like Michelle Pfeiffer or you think it looks like Margot Robbie, or mostly like Margot Robbie.
No, be mostly. We cannot.
I want to bring up the comment that Briggs says. I think that gets like this, like it's like the perfect way to like describe this, because he says she looks hot, she looks like Harley, but it doesn't look like Margot Robbie. I think that's exactly how I feel. Like this, I can tell that's Harley Quinn, and I know it's supposed to be Harley Quinn from the Suicide Squad 2016, but I don't think it necessarily looks exactly like Margot Robbie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. D is passing in public school, but 70% I should say is passing. But yes, guys, we're gonna leave it at this because again, we can go on and on. I like the figure. Some of you guys don't like the figure. Some of you guys do like the figure. We're going to close the poll. We're going to let the poll do the talking. Copper flops. That means you think it's good. You're going to be picking it up. Flop. No shot. 78%, despite the divisiveness, 78% said cop. So regardless, and that doesn't mean that 70%, all of you guys think the sculpt is a solid 10 out of 10. You know, it could be your love for the character. It could be your love for the outfit, you know. So there's some details in there that
because I think with that poll, you're saying, do you like the character? Do you want to buy it or not? And not necessarily saying, does this look like Margot Robbie?
Copper flop. And I just acknowledge that.
But that's different, though, because we're, as a figure, it's a good figure. We've talked about the updated body, the suit, the accessories that it comes with, the cheeks, right? So it's like the Artisan and the sculpted option. So as a figure, as an offering, this is good. But does it look like Margot Robbie?
Right,
that was the question.
But and the poll was just to see who was going to be picking this up. You yourself said at this current time, because of how you feel about the sculpt, you're not picking it up. So the copper flop poll was to say like, hey, do you like this figure enough to pick it up? And like I said, after I said that, I was saying like that doesn't mean that everybody voted cop thinks that this is a 10 out of 10 head sculpt, or the head sculpt's perfect, or the head sculpt 100% looks like Margot Robbie. So absolutely, like obviously with a poll, it's just a generic gauging of the chat. There's no like inner workings of the details. For that, you would have to look at the actual live chat and see what everybody's saying. So I totally agree. Like, no, the poll doesn't mean that you're wrong and my opinion's validated or vice versa. You know what I mean? It's just gauging the chat and see who's interested in picking it up. So, but we're going to move on from Harley. Again, very divisive topic. I should probably touch on a couple more comments because I know you like. Travis says this looks like Jamie Presley. Sal says, this isn't the first Ahsoka figure face, and y'all bought that. I mean, it is crazy looking at the first Mando Ahsoka and now looking at Ahsoka the White. It is a drastic difference. It's so drastically different that I'm like, I want to sell my first Mando Ahsoka because it just looks so much more like her. Yeah, right. It's just a sampling of the chat. Jose, I wasn't at all saying like, oh, this is the vote, so your opinion's invalidated. Just kind of like gauging if people are still going to buy this despite the divisiveness of people's thoughts on this. There's absolutely nothing wrong with James Preddy. We're going to move on now to a figure that I think will be universally loved by a lot of people because this is one that was definitely very, very sought after for sure. Again, the original version we had of this figure was super old. You know, of course, if you're a big Terminator 2 fan, you were maybe tempted to pick it up. But unfortunately, it was just so outdated. It didn't have this like vacuum metallized looking finish. And it just didn't quite do it for me. It's like, you know, some stuff for me, despite wanting a representation again, I don't want to buy something that's just a representation. I want something that actually looks pretty decent. And I'm kind of trying to change that in my collection. So with that being said, we make lists in our head of like, I would love to see this made. This is a figure that I've been wanting forever. I would love to see Hot Toys do this. I'd love to see this company do this. And I was telling Jose this too. Like I had a few figures in my head. You know, we on Jose's show, Mas o Menos, we talked about like a figure pitch. What figure we would like to pitch? You know, I've been talking about getting freaking a mummy figure forever.
Yeah.
And then what are the odds? A company does the mummy figure, and then we have that, you know, hopefully going up for pre-order soon. And then previously, the Arnold Mr. Freeze, a figure that I never thought Hot Toys was ever going to do anytime soon. We get an Arnold Mr. Freeze, another one that was really top high on my list. And then the trifecta here. We get the Terminator 2 Endoskeleton. And yes, it is not fully die-cast. That was the dream figure for all of us, I think, most of us. We wanted a fully die-cast Endoskeleton. But despite that, we kind of have a nice middle ground. It's got a fully die-cast skeleton, which is nice. That should add a lot of weight to it. Because I did have the Genesis version, and truth be told, it felt extremely cheap. The joints were really floppy. And it just didn't do it for me. And I'm like, this figure is selling for like $450. I can't justify keeping that in my collection. So I had it for about a week, and I immediately got rid of it. Also, it didn't come with the awesome plasma rifles. It just had that like giant Gatling gun from Terminator Genesis. So wasn't for me. And not only that, like the Terminator Genesis Endoskeleton is not just like a re-imaging of the same Endoskeleton. There are a lot of parts changed on it, so it doesn't quite look as cool as the T2.
The less remembered about Genesis, it just in general is better for your brain.
Yeah. Obviously, Terminator 2 is the better of the two films. But
oh yeah,
guys, we have a really beautiful looking finish despite this not being full die cast. And I think part of the reason why Hot Toys kind of went the route of doing die cast inner skeleton but doing the plastic outer body is because you do have some swap out battle damage pieces, which I think is really cool. For those of us that want two of these, which it kind of hurts to even say it because this is $400. It hurts. $400. It's expensive. But can you put a price on a figure that you've been wanting forever? And for some of us, including myself, I can't put a price on it. I've been wanting this for so long, and I've watched people pay $400+ for that original one that's so freaking old and crappy in comparison. So I'm just going to have to bite the bullet. Jose, I'm getting two of these suckers. And I remember we were talking about like what we want to see for the display base, and we got exactly that. The base that everybody would have wanted, which is like that flash forward scene where you see the human skulls under their feet and everything. That's what we got, dude. I mean, how friggin' sick is this, Jose? We finally got the T2 Endoskeleton. And Jose, another thing that we kind of talked about, and I think a lot of us are thinking right now, like, what else are we going to get? Are we going to get that Sarah Connor?
Gosh.
Are we going to get a John Connor? Like, if Hot Toys is going this hard on Terminator 2, what else are they going to do?
Man, that's a tough one. Well, first I'll speak on this Endoskeleton. Man, this is amazing. I'm just as pumped as you are in regards to getting this. I think the perfect base, as you mentioned, the perfect base for this. It's one of those that even I was asking you, how many are you getting? Because even I'm kind of tempted, and I don't buy doubles of the same figure ever. I've never, ever bought that in my years of collecting, never. And I'm like, I might want two. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's crazy. But I'm really, really pumped about this. Sarah Connor would be awesome. Kyle Reese, I mean, it's the anniversary. If they it's one of their first figures. If they did a Kyle Reese, you know what I mean? Like that would be interesting.
InArt, right? Like it could be InArt.
InArt does have
talk about it.
Yeah, they do have the license for the original Terminator, so the first movie. So what if they do a Kyle Reese? That'd be interesting. That'd be kind of cool. And then they would have to get the Nike's license. I personally would want that as a sneakerhead. Like I would want them to be accurate in regards to the shoes and things like that for Kyle Reese.
Yeah.
But man, if they could do things like that, get the license and all that, that'd be really, really cool. But Sarah Connor, on the other hand, I think she is going to come. I think we are going to get a Sculpted and an Artisan. I think that's coming. John Connor is a little more. I'm more skeptical about it, but I'm not saying it will never happen.
I agree with you. I think Sarah is more likely than John, and obviously, like the actor who played John Connor had his troubled past, but they have done NECA figures of him, I believe. So it is certainly in the realm of possibility. But if we're looking at like Hot Toys, 25 years of Hot Toys, what's a figure that they've done that they could certainly redo and make it so awesome? Sarah Connor.
Yeah.
Valk, by the way, with a $2 super chat, Valk says we need 4 of them. Valk, praise, my friend. That is
$400.
$400
That's
a piece,
tough.
dude. $1,600 worth of them, dude. I don't know, man. I don't know if I could.
I mean, if you're trying to make like the Fantastic Four and Galactus sound like a bargain, that is definitely a good way to do it.
Yeah, this is interesting. So, I'm laughing at
Sal, you're hilarious, man.
This is interesting because me personally, when I think of Sarah Connor, I want that like military cap, the shades, like that's the look I would want for Sarah. Not to say I wouldn't take the waitress look, but yeah, for T1, dude, I agree. I would love a Tech Noir from InArt and a Kyle Reese. And imagine, because Kyle Reese has that hair where he's got like that kind of high hairline and the hair kind of like blouses over his scalp a little bit. I think InArt could probably freaking kill that if they did rooted hair. That would be sick, man. And like Kyle Reese is obviously very important to the story. So if we could have that, transition from T1 to T2 with all this awesome stuff that Hot Toys is doing, I mean, dude, we'd be in heaven. We're already in heaven right now. We're staring at a freaking 2025 announced Endoskeleton. And I totally agree. I'm sticking with that, Jose. I think InArt's going to do T1. I think at Wonderfest, we're going to see something about a T1, T800, or potentially a Kyle Reese. I like that thought as well. I think those two could be very much on the table. And I think if InArt was smart, I think Hot Toys did such a fantastic job from what we've seen on the new T800s and stuff. I think T1 would be a great entry into the Terminator line for them. But, dude, I agree, man. It's like,
well, they're doing it. They're doing it. InArt is doing it. They have mentioned it. They mentioned it at the San Diego Comic-Con event. How often, how close they're going to do it, we don't know. I mean, hopefully they show
right?
something.
Like that's what they were shooting for was T1, right? I thought so, because I thought I heard John say that a few times, and I saw some other people say like, well, hopefully they don't do T2 because what's the point? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure they said T1, which is what they should do. I would love to see the Tech Noir specifically because I love that fit with the studded jacket and everything, and obviously that scene is just so freaking he's just so menacing in that scene. So. T1's very underrated, not as good as T2, but T1 is awesome. I love T1. But yeah, dude, you got me thinking about that Kyle Reese, man. I'm like, I want that.
Yeah, man, that'd be cool. The only thing with John Connor is John Connor also, he's wearing Air Jordans. So if Hot Toys does them, I don't think they would do that. So I think they do that, the cheap knockoffs. So I would have to, like, for me as a sneakerhead, I'd be like, I need to fix the shoes if they do that.
I agree. And even I have the Back to the Future Part 2 Marty, I went and got like unlicensed Air Mags for him because I wanted the Nike. And I like on the hoverboard, I used water transfer decals to put the Mattel branding and stuff on the board. InArt did do Glock branding on their Glock that came with the first Joker figure that they did. So I wouldn't be surprised if they went all out and did the branding. I mean, it's going to cost them a lot. So I also wouldn't be surprised if like, sorry guys, we ain't going to swing that, but.
You guys are making me glad I'm not a sneakerhead with some of this because I just put shoes that look like tennis shoes without any branding and I'm good. Like as long as it looks like.
Well, they need to be accurate at least. They need to look at like.
Oh yeah. Oh no, totally. But I don't need any branding. I don't care about that.
Yeah.
But I'm like that in general. I just want it to look like it looked in the movie for the most part.
That's crazy. X-Man, you got some interesting theories about Terminator.
He's over here.
I know. He's like creating
Well,
his own-
Even
what-
Terminator
is that
over
what you-
the course of the series.
So what was that like?
Is that what you guys believe? Go ahead.
I was going to say he's saying they're trying to put it in different lore. Even Terminator couldn't figure out its own lore and was rewriting it at points.
Well,
not even restarting, but just doing stuff.
Well, it's like the whole grandfather paradox, which Sal was bringing up in the comments. But do you guys believe then, or in the original timeline, Kyle Reese was always John Connor's father, or do you believe that there was someone else, and then at that point, Kyle Reese became the father when he went back in time?
I think Kyle Reese, like X-Man was saying, I think Kyle Reese came in and kind of disrupted that potential timeline, and he became John Connor's father in that way. Like I don't know if that he was destined to be there in that moment, because obviously all the circumstances surrounding why he was there. So I think maybe someone else was destined to be with Sarah Connor, and Kyle Reese came in and swooped in and made a move.
One way how they dealt with things was a little bit was in Terminator Resistance, a game made by the guys who like
the game
RoboCop game that came out. Yeah, Terminator Resistance was about the future war of like T1, T2.
And now is this canon?
I heard about that. I heard it.
Yeah,
I heard about that. I heard it's actually a good game.
Yeah. So the thing it establishes is like you play a soldier who fights in the Resistance, and you're like the third most sought after person. You fight a T800. Like they established the infiltrators, like Arnold. They're way more powerful than like these endoskeletons. Like their boss fight and stuff. They're physically more powerful than your average endoskeleton, even. How powerful they're supposed to be and advanced. It's your actions that actually what allows you to take like control of the T800 that was used in Terminator 2. You find the guy who developed it. You find the chip and help alter it and everything. But
that's correct. Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I want to reel the conversation back in because we're getting 2 hours.
I know. I was just going to say.
Sorry to cut you off because I know you got.
I was just going to say what they do is they kind of establish that first the T800 that was from Terminator got sent back and the T1000 got sent back, but like time has shifted because the future still exists. Like it doesn't change. Yeah. It's its own separate time. But they changed what happened then in the movies and everything, so that timeline kind of they didn't realize time would kind of shift a little bit and kind of created another time, but they still defeat. Because remember, they established Skynet even in the future was defeated eventually. So you help, like your final battle is trying to take out Skynet's core.
Yeah,
and so that's how they deal with it. Like that's a different timeline that was given a new future, basically. But the future timeline still had, it's still all screwed up and everything after the war.
All right, Lane, reeling it back in.
Back to the figure.
Reeling it back in. Thoughts on the figure? Sorry, I was like, Lane, let's get back to the figure. He's like, okay, cool. Anyways, let me keep telling this story.
Yeah, well, no, I just wanted to finish just to get that explanation.
Lane, what are your thoughts on this endoskeleton? I love this. Finally getting it.
I love this endoskeleton. Only thing that would be cool was I would maybe if it had come now. It's already $400, so I'm kind of glad they didn't do it. But if they could have thrown it in there, is kind of like the third scale statue that they put two head sculpts with different types of colored teeth. One that's more metal and one has human teeth, looking teeth.
I like the human teeth personally.
I know, but I'm saying I would have liked them to have an alternate head sculpt that had the variant teeth to it. It would have been cool. Or maybe a special edition.
The mouth is articulated as well, which is pretty cool.
Let me know, Connor, because it's listed as the battle damage version. So then do you think there's going to be another version, like a clean version that's coming?
I mean, it does have swap out parts that are like more heavily battle damage. It is interesting that they call it the battle damage version. So, I mean, here's a thought. I don't want to put this out there, but I kind of do. What if the clean version is the die-cast version? And the reason they went this route with this one is so you can implement those swap out battle damage parts. I don't know. I don't know if from a manufacturing standpoint that's easier for them to implement with plastic. Maybe because fitment wise, and I know Yost has talked about this, when people have asked, like, okay, why is it not like 100% die-cast vehicle? He's like, it would be a nightmare for fitment and getting all the parts to sit flush and how they're supposed to. So maybe, I mean, that's a good thought you bring up. Why is this just called the battle damage version? If there's a specific battle damage version, is there going to be a clean version that maybe is all die-cast? That's a great thought. It could be, because I think, if I remember correctly, that the quarter scale version they did was much more die-cast than this is, if I remember correctly.
Leave it to the big man to start making people pause, hitting their finger on the pre-order button.
I mean, I'm still going to get this for sure.
Yeah.
But Jose
Wait,
brings up a great point.
who's the big man? Me? You're talking about me?
No,
I think Howie's the big man.
HTH, the big man for
why I got to be big?
Stopping hitting the button.
Yeah,
more like.
I'm not opposed to being called big, Lane. I'm just saying, I'm not opposed.
I know.
To
Look, I mean more like Mr. Big.
I'm not Mr. Big, Lane. Who said I was? Look, Sal. All I'm saying is, dude, it's just a theory. Don't let me stop your pre-ordering. It isn't going to stop me. No, X-Man. Unfortunately, it's just the internal skeleton on this one. They do mention like that the actual armor pieces are like coated to look like a metal alloy, but it is actually just a metal skeleton on the inside.
So it's probably got at least as much metal as.
I will say, like, just to kind of counter my own theory there, this chest plate is very clean, the stock one that comes with it. So maybe I'm full of shit, Sal. Maybe you can ignore me. But
it is strange though. It's labeled that way though, because like that one looks pretty clean.
Why not just call it like the endoskeleton, and then it comes with the swap out parts like they've done many times in the past?
Yeah,
I don't know, but I mean, I don't want to discourage you guys from pre-ordering. There's no shot that I'm going to go off of a random theory that I just came up in my head. I think for now, let's assume this is the only endoskeleton we're going to get. Pre-order it if you want it. Like we were saying earlier, I definitely will pick up 2 of these. Because I feel like 2 is a must when you've been waiting for this figure for so long, and there's 2 methods of display. And also, you know, to kind of like on a much smaller scale recreate that future scene where they're walking on the human skulls. I at least have to have 2, right? Gotta have 2. I don't want to spend much time on this at all, just because we're kind of running short on time. But it did finally get announced. We have our Human Torch figure finally. I'm very happy for you guys that have been going all in on this line, because that would have been like truly devastating from a collecting standpoint to have 3 out of the 4 of the crew. That would have sucked, right? So I'm glad that whatever licensing or whatever they had to work out with this, they got worked out.
Fruit roll torch.
Yeah. I'm not personally a fan of the head sculpt. Not that it necessarily just looks absolutely nothing like Joseph Quinn. I just think it looks a bit odd, and I think the hair's a little bit off in terms of like how his hair looks in the film. Because I did go back and I was like conversing with some other people and like looking at how his hair looked in the film. I think that's probably what's throwing it off for me for the most part. He does look kind of old in these photos, but then like JC Hong's photos that he put up, he did look a bit younger. So.
Isn't his hair like that? His front hairline, like a little almost too much, covering like the front of his forehead and everything. Wasn't his? If I'm remembering, his hair was a little bit shorter.
Sorry, run that by me again. Sorry, I was reading the chat when you said that.
Sorry. His hairline there on the front wasn't, if I remember correctly, his hairline was a little like kind of farther back.
Yes,
like a little receded a little
it's
bit more.
Pushed up a little bit more than it should be here.
Because that's the thing that was throwing me off when I saw.
Push up a little bit
I actually like one thing I do. What I do like for all this entire line is I really like the uniforms and everything, and I think they really that retro color and everything and style really brings the entire line of figures to life. But yeah, someone told me that the flame up effect on his torso and stuff does look like a giant, like, almost like a Tootsie Roll. But
I mean,
like,
I'll give Hot Toys the benefit of the doubt. It's kind of a hard thing to achieve, and I don't think the solution they came up with is bad. Like, I think this looks pretty cool.
No,
and
he's 270, so the price is not bad for what I think you get.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, at the end of the day, it's completing a team that a lot of people probably invested in, especially because we got the Galactus. Right, and also there were some people that were like, well, and understandably so, they're like, I'm not going to pre-order 3 of these figures and invest all this money without knowing I'm going to get the whole team. So, yeah, again, I think overall, I think it's a pretty cool executed figure. I don't hate what they've done here with the flames, kind of having them mid transformation, but
Yeah.
not going to be getting this line. I'm going to be passing on this.
Yeah. So I just wanted to make a reminder to everybody we got in chat for tomorrow. If you're interested in the John Wick, don't forget the Artisan
Sculpted. Yeah.
John Wick Artisan will be going up 12 o'clock noon Eastern time tomorrow.
And
so
Anakin is going back up tomorrow on Sideshow.
Yeah,
as well.
Anakin. And I'm assuming Broken Tusk will probably come up finally for pre-order too.
I think so. Yes, I think
he's just a general.
1st. And again, guys, just a reminder: Miles supposedly is not going to be going to Sideshow. So if you want him, go through Jeremy Costa from Plastic here. Like that. Yeah, you got to go through somebody else.
Yeah. Sorry, I just wanted to mention that just as a reminder
it's good
for
to mention.
Everybody.
It's good to mention.
Yep. Ciri.
So we have Ciri. So Pure Arts, they are doing an officially licensed line of figures from The Witcher, the video games, obviously, not the show. This one doesn't look quite as good as the Geralt does. I was actually super impressed by the prototype of the Geralt. I did pre-order it. I do love this character, though, and obviously she's a massive part of the story. A lot of people on the outside looking in probably think it's all about Geralt, but Ciri is a big part of the story. So,
especially in the 3rd game.
Yeah. It's cool to see an officially licensed figure of her. I don't know if they quite nailed it like they did with the Geralt. I'll be honest with you. It does have wool-rooted hair, and I think it has rolling eyeballs. Weirdly, on the website originally for Geralt, they said everywhere, real leather, die-cast swords, all that stuff. On this listing, they didn't say anything of the sort. And then a lot of people, including myself, I was asking in the comments, is this real leather? Does she not come with real leather? No one, they weren't answering anybody. And I asked again today, and finally they confirmed to me, yes, it is real leather. I'm like, well, maybe you should update your website so everybody knows that, because so many people were asking, including myself. And I know Steve was curious. Shout out to Steve Evil Sneaker. He was curious as well, and I kept making him I was like, dude, you have to comment with me so they'll say something. So they did actually confirm that, yes, it does have real leather as well, just like Geralt. Because, dude, I'm tired of this pleather shit. I told you guys, I'm not dealing with this pleather anymore if I can avoid it as much as I can. I don't hate this head sculpt. I think those eyes are beautiful. I think the paint job on the eyes is awesome. I just don't think it 100% looks like her from the game. But with that being said, I probably will end up getting this. It is overpriced. $350 for this versus $350 for the Geralt. I think it's very overpriced. It has wool-rooted hair, but that doesn't immediately mean oh, take my money, Pure Arts. You know what I mean? So I think it's a little bit overpriced. But with that being said, it is cool. It's cool to see an officially licensed Ciri figure from Pure Arts. We knew this was coming soon, right? But we have, I don't know if you could call it official confirmation. I don't know how official this is, but supposedly we are finally going to see our BVS Batman prototype from InArt. And the reason I do have the BVS 2.0 from Hot Toys, and I really do love it, but I firmly believe that InArt is going to dial in those proportions to make it look more like Ben Affleck in the suit, because they've been very good at that with a lot of these superhero-related figures. So very excited to see their take on it. I'm still going to keep my Hot Toys one as well, but I will be picking this up so long as it looks as good as I think it's going to. But yes, we supposedly should be finally seeing an official reveal for the BVS Batman from InArt. So fingers crossed. This is one, again, that I've been wanting for quite a while from InArt. Love the Hot Toys one. Got it in my collection, but I want to see what InArt has to offer for this one. So supposedly we'll be seeing this. I imagine Wonderfest is going to be awesome for both InArt, Hot Toys 3.0, maybe some more Power Rangers stuff from 3.0. I would love to see that. Maybe some more Fallout. So I'm hoping to see some big things from InArt. Hopefully, I was told that Dumbledore is going to be the next InArt pre-order a couple months ago. I hope that means he's going to show up again at this festival. I should say next pre-order for the Harry Potter line, not just in general.
Harry Potter?
So I'm hoping that the Richard Harris Dumbledore shows back up. It's been since 2023. That's the last time we saw it, so I thought it looked like it was ready. Yeah, it looked like it was ready to go right then and there. I had Fawkes the Phoenix and everything. It was ready to go. So InArt did say not that long ago that they were still moving forward with Dumbledore. So I think we're going to see Dumbledore, and I think shortly after we'll probably see that pre-order. So fingers crossed. I'm absolutely loving this Harry Potter line. I know Jose is too. He's got his Hermione on the way, which still one of my top figures of the year. Phenomenal figure. So fingers crossed we get that Dumbledore dude, because he is one of the most important characters in the story for me personally. and it sucks that I'm gonna and X-Men, yeah, same exact boat, announced it, or shown at the exact same time, and we've seen nothing of it. I know they did say, I think Jose, you were the one that shared this, that they did say that they are still revising Christopher Reeve and Clark Kent. So I'm glad that the dream is still alive. But yeah, man, I mean, I sold my Hot Toys one right when those were originally shown, and I've been just clamming to have it back in my collection. And I really want that 2-pack from InArt, because I actually thought the Clark Kent looked pretty good. I wasn't a huge fan of the sculpt on Reeve as Superman, but the Clark Kent I actually kind of liked. So fingers crossed. And then weirdly enough, I guess not weirdly enough, we have another 1/6 scale Wukong, and kind of that final boss fight look, I believe this is, for the Wukong. Now, the interesting one about this, I think this is only up for like 1 or 2 days. My camera just went crazy out of focus. I think this is only up for like 1 or 2 days, and only directly through InArt. So if you want this, make sure you pre-order it through InArt, because that's the only place you're going to be able to get it, unless somehow some of these resellers like secure units to them. I don't know what they're going to do, but this is a worldwide license, so I feel like it makes sense. You just get it directly through InArt, and I imagine they're going to be cutting off their retailers if they're saying you can only get it through them. But yeah, it's just an alternate look for Wukong. He looks kind of evil and kind of gross in the face, and yeah, I mean, if this is something that doesn't affect their current release schedule of other things, why not? And then also, not to be confused with the fourth sister Inquisitor from Star Wars, you have the fourth sister from the same game, Black Myth Wukong. And I have this thought that this is probably going to be a figure down the line that's going to be worth a ton of money, because I don't see a lot of people pre-ordering this. I just really don't. Maybe, you know, in other territories where this game is like really huge, because I know they have like, I saw photos earlier of an actual like Black Myth Wukong full store. So if that doesn't tell you that this is a popular IP, I don't know what does, but I have a feeling that this figure is probably gonna be worth a lot of money, and I think she looks cool. I actually just got my invoice for the first, or I should say the second Wukong, the one that didn't come with the game, the armored look. So, and I think I pre-ordered the little pig guy too, because I just think he's really cool. Don't know if I'm gonna continue going that hard on this line, but yeah, long stream, but a fun time. And guys, I know, as collectors, we get very passionate about discussion, but I think you could see, like, Jose and I are buddies, and I wanted to have Jose on for a reason, because I wanted to show that differing opinions are okay. Not everybody has to agree on everything, and you can have a separate opinion, and you could see other people's opinions, and that doesn't have to ruin a figure for you. Or, you know, if I like it, I don't have to convince Jose to like it. You know what I mean? I'm telling adults this, but you get what I'm saying. Like, sometimes the Hot Toys comments just get so crazy, and I think it's a good discussion to have differing opinions, because it makes it fun. This hobby is not built on everybody having the same thoughts and everything. What makes fun discussion is, well, I actually don't think that. I think it's this. You know what I mean? So I know we got really passionate during that discussion, but I just want to say it was a fun time. I love having these discussions, because it creates good discussion and good flow of conversation in the chat. And I appreciate you. And yes, this is possible as well. You know, sometime, like, maybe I said something that Jose was like, oh, you know, I didn't think of that. Or Jose definitely said something where I was like, oh, I didn't think of that either. You know, and like, people in the chat were like, well, I don't think the hair is too light. Or some people were like, I do. It's very divisive, right? It's one of those figures. It's very divisive, but that's what makes this hobby great. You can have differing opinions and share your thoughts on it, and that engages that discussion and gets us talking about stuff. So, if anything, Big Doll Pound, as someone who's never bought from them, but I've heard varying levels of experiences with them, I would say do not buy a single thing from them. That's just my thought on it. Never bought from them, so I'm not basing it on personal experience. I'll be totally honest with you, but I have personal friends who had to fight to get their money back, and stuff was never shipped, and they were given the ringer. So just based on experiences of my friends and not my own.
I can just say that it took me, I did get one, I've ordered from them once.
Yeah.
It took me a month of them emailing them repeatedly for them to finally actually ship me my item. So at least at this point, I personally have also still heard like kind of other things where they're fine and some you're not, but you could hit me up, Big Dog Pound, if there's a particular figure you're trying to get from Hong Kong. There's someone who I would go to, because who I bought through from multiple times. So I would recommend.
Look, guys, I'll tell you this, and XOXO, we're talking about pop collectibles. Anyone that I recommend that I know is legit, that I know won't take your money, that I know will deliver what is promised, it's in the description down here. So if you're in the U.S., John from Off the Racks, highly recommended. Great guy.
I would always say if you're in the U.S., still go just in the U.S. if you can.
Right, John. Well, I mean, Lane. Some people want stuff day one, and they want.
Yeah, I
So,
know.
so we have options for that, guys. So, John from Off the Racks, Jeremy Casa from Plastic Hero Collectibles, great guy. Recently did the InArt MJ giveaway during the 1/6 celebration. He's a great guy to get stuff overseas from day one. I mean, he gets like China copies of InArt before anybody. I don't know how he does it. So, if there's stuff that you want day one, definitely, again, link in the description for Jeremy Casa. And then, of course, 1/6 Kit. Kit does pre-orders for literally everything. 1/12 scale, 6 scale, InArt, Hot Toys, 3.0, some random third-party figure that you've never even heard of the company. You name it, he's got it. So anyone that I recommend you guys that I think is legit. And yeah, X-Man, again, like what I'm sharing is just based on other people's opinions. I don't have any, just full disclosure, not my personal experience, but for me, if I'm hearing like multiple people say like, "Oh, I kind of had a rough time," and you're kind of in a way saying that as well, I'm like, I'm gonna stay away from them. That's just me personally.
And the other thing, guys, you still got to keep in mind is if you're thinking about ordering from one of the sellers, or whether it's like Pop Collectibles or whatever, you do have to keep in mind there's also going to be a larger tariff fee you're going to have to pay possibly than if you're now. Something like Miles or the Sith Apprentice or, Jedi, the Darth Vader Sith Apprentice, which is not coming here, that's a whole different ball of wax you have to be able to deal with. But you have to remember there is a tariff fee you're going to have to pay on top of whatever you're paying them already, which could be, a little bit more. You're paying more to get it faster, at the end of the day.
And you always have to understand, and we'll say this and we'll kind of end it off there. Yeah. Always have to understand you're taking most likely a loss if you're paying to get something now. A lot of people are paying like $450, $500 for that Deadpool and Wolverine. It's not going to sit at that immediately after. Like it's like you buy a new car, you pull it off the lot, and they're like, awesome, see you later, $2,000. You know what I mean? Like it's like one of those things. Like you're paying for the saving of the time. I want it now. This is like one of my most anticipated figures. And if you collect very sparingly, that might make more sense for you to do. For someone like myself, where I buy so much shit, I can only do that ever so often. So that's how I feel about that.
Well, I know what you mean because I had to do it. I had gotten the Lord Starkiller. I wanted the red coin version, so I got that. But I had ordered that way ahead of time and stuff. But I did sell mine because I had to make space for a new figure just on the shelf.
Yeah.
And I did sell it for a little bit. I actually made close to what I spent actually on it. But yeah, I can just say I did take $25-30 loss. So basically the shipping.
I mean, it happens, dude. And you just have to understand that going into it. Not every figure you buy is going to be worth that money in the long run. But we're going to end it there. Guys, 2 hours and 11 minutes. What a fun stream. A lot of great topics. I hope you guys enjoy the replay. Especially that Harley Quinn discussion. That was a long, drawn out, good discussion.
Jose brought the thunder, and you brought the lightning.
I don't know which is better, the thunder or the lightning. But guys, I hope you enjoy the stream. Anyway, if you haven't already, check out Jose Plus. I have Jose's channel and the links in the description. Jose occasionally, when he really feels passionate about a figure, he does reviews, and I think his reviews are very unique and something different than what everybody else does. So definitely check it out. And of course, guys, if you haven't already, the 1/6 Fix partner stream that Jose and 1/6 Fix put on, they do such a great job over there, and I had a fun time being on there. And I think every single episode is unique because everybody's got their dream figure. Everybody's got this figure that they want made, and just like we talked about the Endoskeleton for me earlier, everybody has that figure, and Jose's looking for a contestant. So put yourself out there, and maybe in the future you'll be on Monster Menos. But it has to be a good pitch. Because, I'm a former winner, contestant of Monster Menace.
Yeah,
so you
we're
have
champions.
Big shoes to fill. Yeah, I'm a Monster Menace champion.
Absolutely.
There's other champions out there. Absolutely. You have big shoes to fill. But really fun stream. You guys definitely have to check it out. Much more unique than mine.
Thank you. Yes.
But it's a great time. And Jose, how often do you do this? Is it once a month?
It's once a month. We are coming back October 25th. We have an episode coming up October 25th. It will be our Halloween special.
Do we know who's going to be on, or is that a secret for now?
Yes. No. If Flavio from House of Collectibles is on, he's going one-on-one. He's going one-on-one with Danny Spachka from Copper Drop.
That is going to be a great episode. That's going to be a great episode. Awesome.
Yes.
Well, there you go.
October
guys.
25th.
Mark your calendars, October 25th. That's going to be a fun episode. Link to the description. As always, thanks for being here, Lane, as well. I appreciate you. And yes, See, us champions
Shout out
got to celebrate, right?
Robert.
Shout out Robert.
Champion.
Robert had a great pitch. I actually would have voted for Robert as well. I liked his pitch a lot.
Sleepy
but,
Hollow.
Yeah, it was a good pitch. But there's been so many where I'm like, I like both of these. Like, I freaking love Halo.
It's hard.
On mine, Master Chief, that's a great one too. But
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, check out Jose in the description. Jose, thanks for being here, my friend. Lane, thanks for being here, fellas, and everybody in the chat. Thank you, each and every one of you. As always, guys, if I missed your comments, I apologize, but I appreciate you guys for being here. And hopefully we have a really crazy next week with Wonderfest coming up. I think there's going to be a plethora, more than enough stuff to talk about. So we'll see then.
Oh yeah.
Good luck, everybody. Again, on that John Wick Artisan / Sculpted launch tomorrow. If you're going for it, 12 p.m. EST. And also, Anakin will be back up on Sideshow as well. So lock in if you want it. Peace out, everybody.
I forgot about that, so thanks for the reminder.
No problem. Lock in, everybody. Get those W's. I think this Artisan will be a bit easier because there's a sculpted counterpart, as there always is. So
then, like crossed. Harley, was even despite the wacky time.
Yeah. That is true. That was a drastic transformation on that one. But take care, guys, and we'll see you next time.
Take care, everyone.